So you make
I
it
definitely got
I
any
would
time
think so.
for my phone. Is it Sean?
Okay, we're ready to call the meeting to order.
Sean's
And
Report.
if anyone's got a cell phone, please silence your phone. And then we'll have a pledge for the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for coming. We'll start the meeting with public forum. Anybody want to address the board with any concerns or comments or questions? Okay, we'll have public forum toward the end too. We need to look at the minutes from April 3rd and April 5th board meetings.
I have a couple comments,
Okay,
corrections. Page 2, this is the April 3rd.
okay,
Page 2, down under nominated Debbie Fitzgibbons.
right,
In the verbiage, it should say planning board instead of zoning board. Down at the bottom, near the bottom.
yeah, the heading says planning board, but,
And the other says zoning board.
yeah, that's a good catch.
The other was, page 6, I had something, find it. Third line, where it says renewal of procurement policy, I think it ought to say revisions, because there were plenty of revisions to it.
I agree with you, and I think it should be, and I think that it should be attached to the minutes.
The other thing is the next one, under mileage allowance. I know Mr. Gerard is very, very busy, but he's both moved and seconded, which I don't think is legal.
Does anybody remember who seconded that, or who made it? We probably should go back to the tape on that.
Well, it was unanimous. I could use my name for second.
Okay. Anybody else on this? I've got a couple myself.
This is just in regard to the third, right?
Yes. I distinctly made mention between the bottom of page 4 and page 5, that if we had two official newspapers, you had to advertise them both. I think that's important that be known. And then, on the number 9, on that page 5, the board meetings for the year, I think we definitely stated the time at 7 o'clock, and they'd be here at the village office. I think that should be part of the record. And then I think we've got a typo through that same paragraph. It says the clerk treasurer also send, I think, the word will or shall, something in there. And then number 11, the advance approval of claims. I think that resolution should be attached to the record or made a part of the resolution. Then we're at the typo on 13 on page 6 under mileage. It says that, and the T is missing on the IRS. And then under 14, the banks that we listed as depositories, I think they should be listed. It was part of the resolution. I believe we had a resolution and a vote.
I don't remember a resolution. I think it's just carry from what we've done before.
But I do think the bank should be listed in the record.
Yep.
And then investment policy, the last word on sentence on that one, this mean, I think it should be plural, means the current policy. And then number 16, the schedule of fees. We had a motion and a second, I'm sure we voted on it, but there's no record of the vote being taken. I think that vote was unanimous. Does anybody remember?
I think you're probably right.
So, and then, that's it on that set. Does anybody have anything else on that one? Do you want to take the vote on each one separately, or?
Sure, I'll move to approve the organizational meeting minutes with the changes that we
Changes
discussed.
and additions, yeah.
I'll second.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Three pass. No nays. The April 5th ones,
Well, I got some comments there too.
okay.
First page, the line, second from the bottom, you're quoted as saying, this doesn't, to me, there's something missing in there. If you read it, there's no, says this says that this is the way he will start his year off. And I don't know if you meant that, or,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, I don't think it even needs to be in there.
Well, I just
Yeah,
thought,
I
I thought
agree
maybe
with
the
you.
word "not" was left out. But I don't know. I just underlined it.
Yeah, I had marked it and I had just struck it because it didn't have any meaning for me.
Well, we cross it out.
But yeah, that's fine with me. But the word before that, I think that says sewer rates raise, I think it should be sewer rates rise. It said we'll watch their water and sewer rates raise. I think the word should be rise. Any other ones, Joe?
Page 5. Two, three, fourth row, and said, Tony stated that the terms of, this is for job appointments, I guess. Oops, no. Yeah, I guess it's a continuation of that. And it says the expert, that have expired, or have an expiration date of April 2007. And now we're in May, so the rest of it.
Those terms, I believe, would expire on an organizational day.
Should have been April 2017.
Yeah, but doesn't that kind of insinuate that maybe at this meeting we should be naming them? That's what I'm saying, that's all. That's my comment.
Well, we actually met on April 3rd.
Yeah, but this is 2 days later.
You think that should say had an expiration date of anything,
I don't know.
rather than have?
No, they expired, so it should be past tense.
Had. Anything else, Bill?
Yep. Page 6. This was about air stripper bid down a little more than halfway down. It says, where it says a tower within 26 feet,
Yes.
then should be not full, it's like half full.
A little over full, a little over half full.
Yes,
Okay.
because we usually try and keep it somewhere near in 35 and 40 feet.
Any more?
Yeah, I have one more. The, page 9, under the report that I made on the zoning board, that meeting was postponed until the 27th, which I mentioned that night.
Instead of April 4th, April
Right.
27th?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
It's Nick's deal now.
That it?
It's Nick's deal now.
Yeah.
That's what I'll look at.
That's it. Anybody else? I've got quite a few. The public hearing, I started the public hearing asking for any comments. I did take the floor, as it said, but the first thing I did was ask for public comments. I wanted the public to have an opportunity to speak before I did. One, two, three, the fifth line from the bottom, it says, that sentence and the one toward the end contradicts itself. They're talking about health insurance allocations, water and sewer budgets will not increase the water and sewer rates, but they might increase them, but this was as a result of the 90,000 benefits being put in the, and so I indicated that they might increase, but I wouldn't want to say they would not increase. If we left that $90,000 in there, they most likely would have had to. The very bottom sentence, the word that says, mayor's seat, and asked if anyone, LESE, should read else, ELSE, so we need to do a spell check on those. If I'm going to be quoted, I'd rather be quoted exact. On page 4, it says, when we didn't make the appointments, they said he feels he can't choose appointments because he's afraid he will be choosing favorites. I'm not afraid I'd be choosing favorites. I think that it may have been accused of having favorites. And then, this sentence doesn't make any sense either. He said all he wants is change and employees that can accept this. I guess you can read it that way. And then further down, the sentence that says like an executive session period. Mayor then stated he'd like to see how people will work with him and the changes him going to implement. That should read he might, or his, he is going to implement. There's an incomplete sentence a little further down there. The file stated, don't believe what they have heard. Well, maybe that could be where that, I'm telling somebody, don't believe what you've heard. And then on page 5, Mayor Gathal, second and third lines, stated that the motions are under his direction, and that should be nominations. Then partway a little further down, it's in the, there is no second to Trustee Hayes' resolution. The record should be very clear. There was a motion made, and there was a second. And there was a very lengthy discussion, and then the second was withdrawn. So there was a motion and a second. Does anybody recollect that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, and the second was drawn. The record don't reflect that. I think that should be corrected. And then we did ask for a second. Another second, and there was none, so that motion died on the floor. Page 7, the end of item 6, just before number item 7. Trustee Rose says he doesn't feel it's a priority, feels that instructing counsel to write a letter. Now, did we mean, it's counsel, CIL, did we mean attorney counsel? So that should be spelled different, right?
Yes.
Were you aware of that one, Mike?
Is it to the,
That Orchard?
yes, I went about to write it, Harry,
Okay.
and you had written it.
Okay.
You sent him a one-liner.
Okay. Did it work?
Yes, so I
Okay.
thought you were brief.
I didn't have the minutes and, council, that should read like a counselor instead of council, because I wondered if they meant the board. Okay. Then the bottom of page 7, there seem to be questions on who the payees, I think that was a lost payee. We're talking about Nightmare and the crime liability, and we're talking about lost payees. I think the word lost payees should be in there. And how long it would take to get RFPs. If the RFPs don't belong in there, we wouldn't be looking for RFPs for anything. I think it was just worded, there seemed to be questions on, regarding the lost payees would cover it. And then the procurement policy, I don't know if we talked about that. That needs to be attached to the minutes with the changes. This doesn't mention any of the discussion on the bid amounts and stuff. And I think that should come right from the tape. It's pretty clear. We talked about general municipal law and the limits on the changes in bidding. Okay. Page 9, there's a typo. There's a T missing on the word the, T-H-E, report, right the first line. That's all I have. Anybody have anything further? I think we'll improve on those. I just need to spend a little time, and being short-staffed, I think helps lead to it, plus some of the tapes, well, one of the meetings, the tape apparently didn't cover half the meeting, but must have been stopped.
Well, we changed it, one part way through.
Yeah. Okay, someone want to move to approve those with those additions, changes, and corrections?
Tim, you already have that,
Pardon?
did you already do that?
No, we approved the April 3rd, but
did
I'll
the
move
first
to
meeting.
approve the April 3rd with the changes we discussed.
So I'll approve the,
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? Motion carried. Okay. Setting future meetings, I believe we're just set on our next regular meeting. Anybody need anything?
We just did it in the other one. The minutes we
Yeah, we set them for the year, but I put that on there in case we have any special meetings, anything that has to come up in between. Now the transfers. The one, I remember Gerald Fitzgerald had asked how much a local law costs, and it isn't cheap. When you do the general code publishing, those fees are up there. So this must be I think there's a billing for general code this month for payment.
Yeah.
And we need $1,066.05, and Anna wants to transfer from contingency into that account. So that gives you an idea how significant the costs are when you do a local law. And we talked about that at budget time. So that's number 1 under item 3. Number 2 is copier service. The contract came in. I've got some questions about those bills if the board's looked at them tonight. It looks like 2 different service contracts, both with the same contract number, but I think we need to approve the we need to approve it and have the money there if the warrant is approved tonight. And then the next one is a major transfer from contingency, $17,224. And that's to go into part-time, $16,000 of it to part-time police officers and $1,224 in the police department FM, which is I believe, benefits, FICA and Medicare. I believe there's a typo on that, on the two accounts. I think those numbers, A3120, should read .103 instead of reading 0103. Maybe that's, and then the other one is under benefits. I think it usually reads .800 in our budgets it does. I think it's just a typo. I think there's 2 zeros in there. But we're all clear. We know what the account numbers are. And she's identified them as under the personal services account. So we should have some discussion on these. I didn't get a chance to talk to Chief Judd today about it, but when we run that big an amount, we're actually overdrawn in payroll of $6,300 in those amounts. You've got the financials, I think, I got a May 3rd printout, so.
The financials that we have, that we received are March, so we're a month behind. We don't have the April, so it would be hard to know what is left there, so we knew what you could move or couldn't move in his departments.
I ran a tape late today, but I didn't get a chance to proof it. And between personal services, regular, overtime, part-time, and crossing guards, we had budgeted, if you had them all together within that account, $458,313. And year-to-date from this report, we'd spent $422,000. So it looks like if you use all the money in all those accounts, you still might be $15,000 short. So I think we need to do the transfer. We're going to have to pay our people, and then I think we need to sit down and find out how it happened, if they are going to really need that much between now and the end of May. There could have been something irregular. It's like crossing guards. We thought we knew financially where we were in crossing guards, but then I found out they also work the parade. So those are, that would, when you're looking at a normal payroll for crossing guards, you don't realize that. You know how many school days there are. So when we were working on the budget, we changed Kevin's amount and he got back to me. And that's how we became aware of it. So, but what's the board's pleasure on these transfers?
I can move to approve the number 1 transfer from contingency to general code, and I can move to approve the contingency transfer to the computer service equipment, or CT. But maybe we should hold off on the contingency transfer until you can get a better handle on that.
I'm surprised really surprised that's happened. We must have had some anomaly with, full-time personnel to have to hire.
Well, there's things could happen,
Yeah.
and there's likely to be, somebody could have been out sick and he had to call extra people in.
That's why I'm saying that, yeah.
But that may be it, but I don't know. I'd rather hear it from him.
Yeah.
Well, we got a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion?
It's copier service, not computer service.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Copy it, yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions or nays? No, motion carried. Then we'll, I guess we'll instruct Anna to do transfers within the accounts that are still there, with balances, and then hopefully before our next meeting, we can we have to make a transfer before year end, we'll have to make one, that's all. Depending on what his needs are between now and the end of the month.
We'll have 2 more payrolls before we meet. Right?
I would think so, yeah.
I get paid every week, right?
The part-time account only had 5,000 and change based on the statement we have in front of us.
Well, the part-time account right now is overdrawn by $6,300.
So you got the latest.
This is one that I had printed this morning when I, this afternoon, I found out that there was going to be transfers.
We're gonna have to transfer that.
I think that we have to give the mayor permission to, once he gets the explanation, to allow him to go ahead and have the transfer made, because I don't see how we would make it to our next meeting.
So why don't we just approve that,
Why don't we
that
approve,
transfer?
why don't we approve either the transfer or $10,000, other than enough so that we're not ready?
I'm fine with that.
And then we can do the rest.
Yep.
Do you think 10,000 should give us 2 or 2 weeks? And I think the payroll is around
Is it
6,300, a normal payroll, and then, well, it might not, you got 6,200, and the last one was 6,200.
Yeah, that's
But
what
that,
it's.
that was probably 2 weeks, right?
Mhm.
62 and 82, around 9,000, so, plus there's money, 12,000 still in the overtime account. So,
Yeah,
they can
So-
switch between
Yeah.
accounts. So you wanna move to approve 10,000?
Yeah, make
I'll
that
second
motion.
Tony's motion.
Okay, and,
So it's 10 instead of 17,244?
for now, yeah. And then we'll, how do you wanna break that down between the 2 accounts? Want to put it all in part-time officers?
Mhm.
Yes.
And let the other one come within other accounts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carried. Item 4 is approve the bills as audited. I've got a real strong feeling about how we're paying our bills. They come available generally around 2 in the afternoon for the board to look at. Last warrant, Anna got them ready that morning, but I think we need to have a cutoff date sooner, so the board has at least a day or 2 to look at them. It's not everybody can drop everything they're doing and get in the afternoon of the meeting to look at them. And I think we need to have a cutoff date, so they can be prepared a couple days before. That way, if any questions arise, you got a chance to maybe clear up some things. There's a lot of bills in here I'd like to see pulled and held, but I'll be candid with you, you know?
If you're making that suggestion, I also would ask that we could get the agenda a day earlier too, so that we could actually
I agree.
prepare so that we're not just sitting here.
Yeah, I think things would be smoother and easier on everybody, and you feel more comfortable. I don't know when everybody got in to see the bills today, but I didn't see them till really late. And by the time you get through them, then you're just rushing through them. And, you know, once we get up to full staff, I think they probably can get them, maybe even get them the same ones ready a couple days earlier. But in the meantime, it's just the vendors, if it comes in a certain date, it gets processed, otherwise it waits the next 2 weeks, so.
Well, that's the way it is usually, that they have to get in before Friday
I think if you make policy
to
though.
be included in the next board meetings.
not big items, like, Brian, we pay meals. I didn't have the contract to look at. You've got some meal vouchers in for employees for April 20th. Was it an overtime situation, or why would we be paying meal tickets?
Had to be,
Just-
anything over 12 hours. So they had to have overtime to get them.
Brian, my guess would be it was the sewer project, right?
For what?
The sewer project?
Not if it's April 20th.
Route 9?
No,
So why would we be getting meal tickets for?
whatever the payroll says for that week, I don't,
Well,
I'd have to look back.
They go out in the middle of the night to start sweeping, run the sweeper too.
I don't think we've done that yet. I don't think
I've
we
seen it
started.
done.
Not at nighttime.
It wouldn't be flushing hydrants.
Yeah. Yes.
So they get a meal to flush hydrants?
It's over 12 hours, yeah. Yeah.
Well, what time are we starting?
3 o'clock in the morning. Get them flushed before
So
7
if we
o'clock.
start them at 4, then we would avoid that? Is there a reason that can't be done?
Well, we do it around the business areas.
My question is, there a reason that couldn't be done?
I'll have to look into it.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'll move to approve the bills already. I mean, there's not much we can do about, changing those anyways.
Well,
I can look into them. and
well,
question them.
that's one of my minor questions. I've got a lot of questions.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How much do those meals amount to? Is it a significant amount?
$8.
No, it's just a question of how we're gonna run everything. It's,
But
They're
I mean, how much-
they're
how much
$8.
are you- You're
They're
looking at
$8.
something right now, how much is that?
$8.
For meals.
what's that?
The amount for the meals.
They're $8, I believe they're $8 meal tickets.
What is the total on it?
I
$8?
don't remember how many they are. Each one would be $8.
But you don't have that on there?
How many they are?
Yeah, I mean, you said you're looking at bills to be paid, and that was one of them. Am I
Yeah, they're
correct?
in that pile of bills right there. I didn't list how
Oh,
many.
but you don't have a total there?
No, they're all separate vouchers for each employee. They each put in their own meal ticket.
Yeah, but you don't have a total on that. Aren't you addressing
No.
that right now in your bills to be paid?
Yeah,
It's
But
part
you
of
don't
the
have a total on
composite, but it's not,
it's part of the total bills to be paid, but I can't tell you how many meal tickets are in there.
It's separate from that, you mean?
no.
I mean, the meal tickets are only part of that bill.
Right, oh yeah, the warrant tonight, do you have the warrant, the amount? I think those should be read to public.
$21,712.96.
And the meals are part of that, you're saying,
Yes.
right? But you don't know how much of that. I mean, it's gotta
If I had-
be,
if
it's
I had
gotta be
guessed,
a
there's
smaller
five-
amount than,
I had to guess there's what, 3 or 4, how many guys you have all?
Say it'd
less-
be
less than
$32, 4 guys.
$32 total?
It's just a question of.
I know, isn't there bigger things to discuss?
Well, if you believe me,
No,
there's-
I mean,
there
seriously.
is. Ink for the water department, $75 for ink for the water department, what's that for?
Those cartridges for the printer. Prints out his reports. They ain't cheap.
What other reports did we print?
His annual reports and whatever DOH requires, then his schedules.
They print one or 2 pages for an annual report, right?
Well, monthly report, and whatever else DOH requires, he sets up his
Those are the
schedules.
types of things we could have a conversation on if we had the bills in advance, that's all. I don't know how often you do this. You know, it's the first one I've seen. No, little things. And I say they're little, but do we have our parts delivered? Does Weller deliver parts? They
Yeah.
do, okay. So if we have bills, invoices 3 days apart, they're all delivered, we're not making trips?
Yeah, no, we're not going to pick them up.
Okay, good,
Same with Metro, Ford, anything.
okay. I've got a question on one of the healthcare bills. And, I think we may have I think we may have somebody who was on there, is no longer on there. I think it's dental, I don't know if anybody can find that voucher. But we probably should be asking for a credit on that bill. Unless we have a former, somebody that was on the payroll that stayed on our plan and I'm not aware of it.
There's a Cobra type thing.
But if they're on COBRA, they're not paying us.
Oh,
I don't believe.
I think they might be, but.
Huh?
I think they might be.
I understood they were paying
If they pay here, then
the
the
broker.
if they pay here, then their money just gets put into the general fund and it's paid out of the,
I have no problem with it. If they're on COBRA, my guess is they probably wouldn't be on our bill.
If they're on COBRA, they would be on our bill. They do, I mean,
on an individual basis.
they go through the broker, but they are still on our bill, and the broker would obviously send money to us to reimburse us for that. But they
So
will,
we'll be
they will stay on
reimbursed.
our bill, yes.
So
we
the
will be
broker's
reimbursed.
gonna collect it.
Yes.
Then
I can tell you from a personal thing that I was still on the hospitalization for many months last year. And I came in here and wrote a check.
to the
And it
bill,
was included, my name was still included on the list.
but it wasn't COBRA, was it? This one I know is on
No, I
COBRA.
was still here.
Yeah, this one's on COBRA. We have instances where we have people, part-times that are paying, they pay it direct themselves here. I understand that. I'm just trying to make sure the bill's accurate. Brian, we had a bill for a meter head. Is a meter head 185 for just the head?
Just that,
How much is a whole meter?
without going back and looking, I don't know, but it was an inch meter.
And aren't those right around $200?
For an inch, I don't know where I can. No, three quarters, 225, so.
Typical residence is like what, less than that, right?
225?
The residence?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a 5/8.
What is the pH electrode, Brian?
It's a water plant.
Or what is it?
It's an electrode,
Check the
checks the pH in the water.
Is it on a,
It's on a continuous readout.
so it goes out into the water? It's an electrode that's attached to
Right.
one of our consoles or something?
Yeah,
Okay. How often was this a faulty one or?
I don't know, without looking and talking to JR,
It's $276, that sounds,
ain't nothing cheap down at that water plant. Start talking electronics.
but you don't remember buying a lot of them, right?
No, not pH probes.
Isolated thing,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see, you made a motion to approve these?
Yes.
Did we get a second?
No, not yet.
Second.
I don't,
Second,
if I haven't read them, should I abstain?
Yes.
that's your call, I would.
And I'm abstaining because I haven't. I would ask that the motion be made so that we could review those and then accept them. In other words, we have to abstain, so and the mayor, I don't know if he went through all these, so unless he votes, we're not going to have a vote. So-
Sounds like he's been through them.
You've been thrown, are you willing
I
to
still
vote
have
on these?
questions.
Okay.
I'm not prepared to vote yes on this.
So, Tim, if you change your motion to, once we review them, then we can,
I plan on staying after the meeting to finish reviewing them.
and then we'll have enough to.
Can I figure out the plan here? Is that when you have all the information you need to presumably approve it, you're certainly going to make that motion in public. So that's not at this meeting?
No, we're asking that the motion would be made that once we are able to review it after the meeting, and we can, because otherwise we're gonna hold up payment for 2 weeks. So I want a motion made so that it allows us to review them
You should
after the
review.
meeting,
Right.
and then we'll be able to approve them.
Would a motion be in order to approve the bills as audited, conditioned upon them reviewing them and signing the warrant?
If we're only gonna do it one time ever, that's not gonna be our procedure, right?
I don't want to set a precedent.
Right, all right, then the answer is yes. Okay, certainly you need to read it, but that's really, I'm not comfortable about saying
Well, we're
that's our
I'm gonna
standard
abstain
format.
because I haven't reviewed them,
And you should.
and so
Okay.
unless the mayor votes, there's not
So
enough
as this,
votes to pass.
I see it coming. So as it stands, should this pass, and Harry's language was the conditional provisional language, you two gentlemen read everything and give a thumbs up, then that's a clear go, right?
Hmm?
Okay, for one time only.
I don't like the idea that it's a one-time only almost implies that it's not right.
Well, it isn't,
And
you
if
gotta
it's
do it in
not right,
public.
then I don't want to do it.
Okay, then don't do it.
So they'll be held over
2 weeks.
for 2
Further
weeks.
questions?
Sure.
I mean, I'm in business, I know. I mean, why? Because you didn't have a chance to review these before tonight? Is that what you're saying, these bills? That's why you want to listen
These
to-
bills are made
Okay.
available after.
But from here to 4, you will see these, and when you come to a meeting, you will know what your bills are, and all your questions that you need to ask are asked before you bring them to the meeting?
That's why we're
Hopefully.
trying to get
That's
the
what-
date moved up.
Okay,
Correct.
all right, just
Time
so
to
I know.
process.
How's everybody's schedule tomorrow? You want to just call a special meeting to audit the bills tomorrow afternoon or something?
I'm out of town.
Is there anything particular that you wanna hold out?
That's the other thing, we could pull through them.
Right.
You know what, why don't we say this, why don't we just move this down on the agenda and at the end of the meeting, we'll see if we can get through them or pull some, then approve 80 or 90% of them, how's that sound? Then any of them we still have outstanding questions on, we'll pull. Does that sound like a plan?
Does.
Okay, aerator. I kept this on the agenda because we've been working on budget. Brian got some labor figures, I believe, to trustee Gerard. And I don't want to lose sight of it. It's a question whether we're going to do it this year. It's too late, I think, to get it installed and in use during our, probably now till September, I would say. We should be by our peak use by then,
Should be.
but we need, and then we got a letter from the health department, I believe, wanted us to do an evaluation.
I still don't find it. I've got this letter that comes from the health department, the one for Jack, and it says about the source capacity and that type of thing, and then I don't see where it says that you have to do
I
all
don't
bunch
think
of more
that-
calculations.
It's not on that.
Must be, it's a different
Yeah,
letter.
I think that might be a different letter. I looked for mine today, and I don't know if it came to me as a copy from Jack, or
It's
I
all
looked
addressed
through my
to him.
emails, and it wasn't in my emails. But I remember reading it. Tony, do you have it?
I'm
Did you
looking
get
for
anything
it.
like that, Tim?
This one was up.
Which one's yours, David? It's the same one.
Yes.
April
I don't
17th.
think so.
Yeah, no, this one is,
This one was earlier than that, I think.
yes.
It does say that the village should develop an intermunicipal agreement with the town to ensure that the village can purchase water from the town as needed. That's the only place I see cost.
There is a letter. We will find it. It was to Jack.
Well, it's not gonna speed the thing up, so if you just, if you get it, I'd like to see a copy of it.
Anything I've got, a copy of the board on.
No, this is the one that's got your initials up on the corner.
I started putting them on there. And I believe it came from Maria.
Came from
Maria
Department of Health,
Department
yes.
of Health.
Yep.
I'd still like to see us keep moving forward. And even if we order it down, didn't get till October, I mean, at least we were ready next spring, to hit the ground running.
What's the total price on that now, Tony?
The price that was put into the budget was $130,000.
Well, it logistically comes down to, do you want to invest $130,000, or do we want to buy water when we need it? And I think it comes down to, you do the financial analysis, I think we would have had, we ran over your safe yield of 850,000 gallons of water a day, I think, what, 4 or 5 times in the last 4 or 5 years, total.
Yeah, it's very minimal.
I've got the numbers, that came off the report you got me, Brian. There's very few days that we went over the 850,000 gallons. So do we want to spend $100 and some thousand for buy water?
Are we using more water now than we used to?
Right now, in the report he's got tonight, is the average daily is 428,000.
Yeah. The concern's the peak
Instead of
days,
rating
not the
season.
average thing. Yeah, the concern's the peak days,
Oh, I know.
yeah. Well, I think you got me a lot, like a 5-year history of that. Didn't find it, Tony?
No.
Okay. I think in the meantime, I talked to Brady from Chazen Group today, and I told him I'd suggest to the board that we at least ask the only bidder we had to extend their bids for their bid amount for 30 or 45 days, so it gives us time to decide what we want to do. Does that sound,
In the unit itself,
yeah? Because the way the bid specs were read, they were only good for so many days.
If it was approved and put in the budget, then what is there, I mean, it's been approved by the board already, it's been put in the budget, what do we need to wait on?
I think the health department asked for this analysis,
Oh, okay.
you know.
The health department, we prefer to regionalize the water than have it. They didn't say we couldn't do it, but they prefer us to do regionalized water, so if we can buy it from the town, they would, that's what they prefer. That's the first. They didn't say no, that we couldn't do it, but that was their first thing.
Yeah, because I thought they already said that we could do it.
They did, but in the letter that she wrote, that you have a copy of,
well, I'd like to see a copy of that. I've been told a few times that you've got a letter, and
well, you'll have that one right there.
Yeah, I've never seen.
Prioritize that. I don't have
This
that.
is a synopsis of what
Right. Yeah.
improvements are completed, and, you know, some stuff for the near future, and then
Is this the one about the salt and about the chemicals and
some phosphate.
increase in salt and chlorine,
No, I don't think that's the one he's got.
sodium?
Don't mention that here. Maybe that's the annual report. That's where usually that stuff shows up.
No, Maria came over, and Harry's got a copy of it. She emailed me a copy of it.
I think that was the most recent one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is this something we're going to need anyways, in the near future, or in this aerator thing?
Well, that's what they're arguing about. Whether we,
What's the aerator
Whether we
do? What
buy
does that
the-
do?
Takes the smell, the sulfur out of it. Takes a certain percentage of the sulfur out of the
You're gonna
well,
make me smell that,
out of
Ron?
the well water. And they're not gonna guarantee.
I don't know what it is, that's what I
You're
want
gonna
to know.
spend $100,000, you're not gonna have a guarantee that you're not gonna smell sulfur.
No, but are you gonna need it anyways? Is
Well,
this
that's the
something?
thing, it depends on we have the option of buying water from an outside source versus doing this and using the well.
Okay, so you've gotta find out what is the better
Which one makes
financial
the
way to
most
go.
business sense, you know?
And that's where Brian comes in.
Yeah, I thought we already did that analysis by the water committee, which is why the water committee came back and said that the aerator would be the best thing to do.
We didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, because Brian just got the 5-year report 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, a month ago, a couple of months.
Since I've been here, I haven't been here.
Because
2
it does
months.
say, even on this April 17th letter, right, that the proposed aeration equipment has been approved by the Department of Health. That's on number 3 in this letter dated April 17th. Is that what they're talking about?
Essentially.
I don't know, there's so many different, there's like 3 or 4 different letters from DOH the last month, so I don't know which one you got, which one.
This one's dated April 17th, from to Mr. Jack Dixon.
There's one before
Is
that.
that the follow-up for the sanitary sewer survey?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
No,
not,
it is that.
it is the sanitary survey?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not the one, I don't believe.
Or, no, wait a minute. It says
Can you get
sanitary
that
survey,
letter,
but that's
Brian,
not
for-
sanitary survey.
Sodium one was just the other day, she came down to walk the byway, about the byway
And we
spraying.
talked about the chemicals in the
Yeah,
chemical spraying, right?
touch base on the salt shed and the wash bay. So,
And the buffer for
Okay.
spraying byway, right? Byway, future
yeah.
byway.
And then chemicals from the highway building?
They combined all that in one letter, huh, Brian?
We did a lot of traveling that day, up the bike trail, on the garage.
That's the first of some of us have heard that, so that's.
Where's the chemicals coming from? Is that coming down from the highway garage? I mean, where she
So
is, that's
this
right at the
start-
bottom
This
of it.
started with I think an inquiry about, from Brian about we had the proposals to spray pesticides, I believe,
Yeah,
on the byway. And so we questioned whether we should be spraying around our water supply. And this letter came back and basically said a 300-foot buffer, right?
Yeah,
It's normal for any pesticide technician.
I may have number 8. That's in a May 2nd letter. About the sodium levels, pesticide
That was just yesterday.
application. Yeah. And this one, I didn't copy the board because it said they CC'd the mayor and the board, so.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
yeah.
He's pitching for the Yankees tonight, so.
HPC.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to have them extend their bids, or what's the board want to do with it?
Yeah, it's what
Yeah, I think
they go hold it for what, 45 days?
30 to 45 days, have
Yeah,
them.
well, that, he's already held it for a month. So, and part of this was in this year's budget, which is, you know, that probably will now contribute to some part of the fund balance.
We budgeted for next year too, I think, didn't we? Was some of it in this year's budget for me?
Yes.
You're a stripper?
Just the engineering, that was.
Right, the engineering part, yeah.
I thought the stripper was too.
No.
Okay, I'll chase and ask them to extend their bid then. And then we'll try and make sure that, Bill, that you get all of these, get the same letters, so.
And is Brian gonna do something in the meantime to?
No, he's gonna wait.
Hey, why you got thrown in?
Well, I don't know, I just wanna know why we're,
No, we're.
if you're extending
They're waiting.
45 days, you're waiting for
It's up to
something.
them, no.
Well, somebody will have to do this analysis.
Somebody, okay? But it will be done in that 45 days then, hopefully, right?
I
Instead of extending it again?
think we just put it to the water committee to do it, and if they need help, we can.
Right.
The next item is a gazebo request from Mary Lou Saunders.
I'll move to approve the gazebo request.
I'll second it.
Okay, under discussion, I'm just gonna bring up the fact that, I had a call from a local business owner about the parking down in the area of the gazebo. And one day, this last trot
So,
that they had, I don't know how many people participated, but they got in there early in the morning and took all of his parking spots. He said he might better just shut his doors. So I told him that what we'll do is we'll fax him and keep him up to date on any approvals. And when we ask how big the event might be, we'll let them know, because he may want to station somebody out in his parking lot just so he can do business. But he was really good about it, because like the concerts, he almost don't care if they're use the back end of his parking lot,
Yeah.
but he needs to stay open and he needs to have room for customers, so. Yeah,
Just on the Foxtrot, they had about 250 participants, and the organizers, did put out notices, excuse me, where to park, to get there early, to carpool. It's gonna be an issue ongoing, because if there are events with the new construction,
and when the concerts start, we're well aware of it, so. We're
maybe.
gonna try and work with him, and he said he'd work with us, so. We're just trying to mitigate it. It's just when you build apartments on parking lot and people are used to parking there, they're now gonna have to find another place. And I think the concerts are gonna probably, we will have them, well, I've got that on the agenda. Well, that's next, so we might as well talk about it then. Did we have a motion that we didn't take a vote on this? We had a motion second,
It's just been tabled.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Summer concerts. We've got, some people are out looking, getting us donations. I signed a letter on their behalf, and they've been out to get donations for the concert. Visited, Pam Friars is here, she's one that's been out door to door, and I believe Mary Ellen Stevens and other ones have worked drafting the letter and listing the businesses, and I believe to date they've probably contacted 60 or 70 or in that range.
Close to 70.
We've got 2 checks in now, and they expect a lot more coming in, so if things go well, we're gonna recognize all the donors, and if things go well, we'll have probably go back to 8 concerts this summer, so. Been a lot of interest in it. And the people have indicated that they're willing to contribute, so. I'm gonna ask our attorney about the situation. If we had a vendor who wanted to make a sizable donation and utilize a piece of ground there, like maybe park an automobile there with a banner on it or something, is that something that's allowable?
Well, he's not really making a donation, is he? He's
Well,
making
that's, I think it's a donation with a condition. So I said I would bring that to a public meeting and see if it's something that's,
It doesn't conform to the sign ordinance.
Probably your sign ordinance is not involved with something that has wheels on the bottom.
Can you advertise there? Can you still advertising space? Is that like a billboard?
Advertise anything on the side of the vehicle.
was it something we want to discourage, something we want to encourage, and come up with a policy? Is it legal or is it?
You should have a policy. A donation with a condition like that is perhaps not a donation.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. How do we handle it? Anybody got any ideas?
I would tell them we're gonna take a look at it.
And they may just make
What
the
is it?
they may just make the donation anyway.
What type of thing is it? Is that part of our concerts, or?
No, no.
It's probably his business.
I think some of it would depend on what kind of business he's advertising.
I think maybe we should stick to what we're doing
Donations.
and donations.
Yeah.
And then I would think if we had people that wanted to sponsor a whole concert, like I think some of them used to do, we would give them that recognition that they sponsored that, give them credit for that whole concert. Yeah.
Although I think you have to be careful, because if we, if we do as well as I hope we're doing, and you have several people, there might be more monies than the actual concert, so we can use it for advertising or maybe fund, but you still gotta give everybody credit. So it seems to me, I told them they would be billed for a concert, like giving credit for a concert. So if you had people that were generous and say, I wanted to stay 3, then you're gonna have all these people that you're trying to cram in. Oh, it was sponsored by this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, so. But a lot of them did indicate they would give close to the amount, so I think that would be good. And as far as the other issue, I think that you can just say it's not feasible right now, because if you think conceivably advertising, then there could be a whole bunch of people that said, well, you didn't tell me we could advertise at the thing, because I did not. I said they'd get recognition, and hopefully the ad in the paper where we're thanking our sponsors and coming together as a community. But I think you're opening yourself up for a whole bunch of others. Well, I'll give you money if, or people saying, you never told me we could do that, or why couldn't we come down and sell? Because when they say different things, I go, let's just get the concerts going this year and deal with the parking, and then we'll add to it maybe next year or something.
Right. Yeah, I
That's
think
just
it's good. I
mine.
just said I'd bring it up, see how
Yeah.
we deal with it.
Do you have bands picked out already?
Pardon?
Do you guys have bands picked out?
No, I think we're gonna try and get a hold of, I believe, and I think the board agrees, we would probably try to get, I understand Ken Fuller did a lot of this before. That
We
sounds
had
like,
a gentleman who looked it all together, yes.
yeah, does that sound like
Did
something
it
we
for a
want to
number of
do?
years. Yeah.
If he's interested, you okay with that? Too? We'll get a hold of him. I've got names of a couple bands people called that are interested in playing, and then, do we want a committee of board members to work with the group? Or
Well, we've never done that. It's always been
just let,
one person,
okay.
usually the mayor.
Sounds good?
There was no money in the budget for celebrations.
We're not sure where we're
There's
going.
15,
We've got
It was
money
in
under
publicity.
publicity, celebrations, and 3 different line items,
so not in entertainment.
but nothing in entertainment.
We did ask, if you remember, on the letter too, for as much as they can, those that are able to get an answer by the 19th. So then that way we have an idea of how much you could be able to fund, although I told them that if it came in later, we would certainly take it.
Good. Well, thanks again. Byway Spring.
So we making a motion to accept these 2 donations?
Yeah, we
that
do,
we
we
have?
need a,
Yeah,
we need a motion. Yeah, we can't accept them without a motion in the record. We've got a $25 check from Sherry Lawson,
Which is Adirondack Naturals.
Adirondack Natural Foods, and a $50 check from Cameron and Associates for both, for the concert. Does somebody want to move to accept those 2?
I'll make a motion to accept those.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, spring, the byway. I still have just the proposal that came We've now checked it out, and Department of Health does have a buffer regulation. Brian, were you gonna get prices of the organic?
Well, I didn't give you, Hunts doesn't do organics, or can give me a bid on organics if I didn't give it to you.
That's the
Still-
one we had last time of the
That was,
No, Nature's Way was the,
$3,250.
yeah, that was Nature's Way. Or can give me a bid on the chemical, but he can also do the same thing, Ecovia, that Nature's Way does. This would be $9.25 a month. So both of them said it's gotta be done monthly, so they propose 5 times. Because it just doesn't last, being organic, it just doesn't last.
What's the board wanna do with this?
But again, I mean, she's saying a 300-foot buffer on those wells, springs, and we can't do the upper byway. Unless you wanna do just the backside along the houses on that side, but maybe piecemeal it.
I'm not in favor of spraying anywhere near our aquifer.
You said it was 925?
But the board,
25.
925.
But that was for the whole length.
That's almost $5,000.
Well, that's for the whole length.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just gonna do this bottom area, I'll get prices on just doing this at a riverside. You wanna do just that, or none at all. I mean,
How effective is it though? Does it just disappear after every rain?
no, it kills the ticks quite a bit. There's a lot of ticks out there.
Well,
I don't know about down here in the blacktop, but up there,
Up in the woods, there's a lot.
but we're
On
not
the upper one.
touching, yeah,
but
we're
you're
not touching
gonna
it,
touch
so
that one anyway.
I don't know how bad they are down here in the blacktop.
Do you have a 300-foot buffer even if you use the organic stuff?
She
No.
didn't specify.
that's a good question, I don't know.
I can call her again, but I gave her all 3 chemicals.
Chemicals that included the organic stuff?
Yeah, Ecovia, Lexi or whatever, and Tempo or whatever it was.
And you're within 300 foot up there?
That's what I said, them springs are way down there. She looked, but she said you're still within, and plus you're over,
So there could be drift.
or drift, and plus the water's not 50 feet below the.
It's more than 50 feet.
No, we're coming into the springs.
Yeah,
It's
It's lower.
surface, well, it's not 50 feet.
it's more than 50.
No,
I'll bet you. Yeah.
I'm not talking from the top of the byway, I'm talking about down ground level. I mean, it's not like it's a well 300 feet deep,
Well,
so she wasn't in favor of it. But I can call her and ask her,
well,
but I gave her all 3 chemicals,
I
so,
would say you put a sign up there. Be careful, watch your animals for the ticks.
well, I know,
Yeah,
Not even do it.
right, so,
it's gonna be a lot.
Just put a little,
We might not be able to do it.
put up some sort, just put up some of a warning, that's all. And just remind people that they're kids, pets, themselves.
I think that's a good idea, put it at the entrance of both of the byways, all entrances.
That'll deter a lot of people from going down there,
Well,
Yeah, nobody wants Lyme disease.
especially with their pets, a lot of them use it.
of all the times I've walked out in the back,
Mosquitoes.
it's, once have I gotten a tick. And I was off the beaten path when I did that.
You're not that sweet.
And I'm not gonna say-
but that's back when they're spraying too.
Yeah.
We do it on the beaten path.
Well, I like to walk
Yeah, okay.
off through the woods where we have trails.
I'd rather warn them than to have their dog get Lyme disease. What's the board want to do with it?
Well, I think Brian should maybe call them back and find out if she is talking about the organic stuff for the 300-foot buffer. Because if it's organic, it should hurt our water supply. If there is a little bit of drift, that could happen. I mean, it's more than 300 feet away from that walkway.
The backside, but now when you're right up on top, the springs are right just over the bank.
It's part of your aquifer.
It's not just 300 feet, it talks about, Department of Health requires a minimum 200-foot radius of protection around a public drinking water well. In accordance with Table 1, Appendix 5D of Subpart 5-1 of the New York State Sanitary Code, all known sources of contamination not specifically included in the table require a 200-foot separation distance to a public water supply well. This shall be increased by at least 50% whenever the aquifer enters the water well at less than 50 feet below grade, where a contaminant is located, up gradient of a water source, or the source is in the direct path of drainage. If the village wishes to pursue the application of pesticide on the trails, it may only do so if there is at least a 300-foot separation distance measured horizontally from any of the spring sources.
So it's telling them you can't do it anyways.
Pretty much.
For that part down there, up
Right.
on the higher portion,
Much more.
Why would you do part of it and not the other? I mean,
because that's where all the aquifer, the water, the whole, for the, where drink comes from there.
Well, what I'm saying is, why would you do any of it then? I mean,
That's the point.
yeah.
That's why I suggested put the signs up,
Yeah.
just to make people aware of it.
Yeah, right.
I'll go with
That's-
Bill's
yeah.
suggestion.
Maybe we can get a sign from the Department of Health, post at the trailheads. They have things on their website about tick safety. We can just put those up and educate people about it, how to look for them, identifying what to do if they find one.
Does that work?
Sounds good.
The
Yep.
brochure type thing, Brian, can you get those and put them up? Is that where we want to leave it now? See what happens? Okay. Cleaning proposals. Our bathrooms are open down by the museum. We've got the DPW opening the gate, unlocking in the morning, and the PD's closing them at night. And as far as maintaining them and cleaning them, I got quotes and had All Pro Cleaning clean them an initial cleaning, because they had that event coming Friday and for Saturday, and they got in late Friday and cleaned them, and the initial cleaning was $75, but they were dirty, so. Sinks were yellow, and so we got them cleaned up, and now it's a question of maintenance. Who do we want to do it? We've got our cleaner that cleans this building and the firehouse submit a proposal. We had one vendor didn't return a request, and then we got another one from All Pro. I think the board's been copied on all of it, and it's what we want to do now. We've been paying these out under the .4 account, which is contractual. When we do that, we really should have certificates of insurance on file. I don't think we do. How's the board want to deal with it? And what do we want to do?
What was the lowest bid or proposal?
Well, they quoted differently, which I don't like to see happen,
No.
but
No.
it depends on whether I was thinking whether we do them once a week, twice a week, and then maybe have a special call in if we found that it wasn't, we had a mess, somebody got in.
How are we doing it before?
I would tell you that once a week is a disaster.
Once a week's not enough? Okay.
No, I mean, there are some days down there that if they steal the wallpaper, or not the toilet paper, and
So what do you think?
walk off with it. At least every other day. We keep supplies in the building under lock and key. But it gets a lot of use. There's people have lunch over there lots of days, and they want to, particularly if it's nice and sunny, the picnic tables there. And you got a lot of walkers, and I mean, you never know. It's just kind of protect our investment too.
Yeah, we want them sanitary, for sure.
Yeah, well, and part of this would be, you can bill half of that to Glens Falls.
Have we done?
Sure.
Good,
For the cave, I mean, that's,
okay.
you know,
When
it's
do we unlock the gates to the cave?
May 1st.
May 1st,
May 1st, okay.
Until
You're
Halloween.
taking care of that?
Yeah,
Good.
till Halloween, or November 1st.
yeah.
November 1st.
If your guys put the power wash on the stuff out there,
No, not yet.
So what is the board's pleasure on this? Well,
Well, maybe we should get some, compare apples to apples and ask these people to quote us on what it would cost based on what we just talked about every other day, Monday through Friday though? Like Monday,
it's still
Monday, Wednesday,
open on-
Friday?
It's still open on weekends.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Oh, I don't know. It's-
The
They have,
the other
we have
guy,
one proposal that I've seen that addresses, you know, the thing, and, you know, that's, she's suggesting how,
So every other day.
Monday, Wednesday,
7
Friday,
days, or-
Sunday, and then start,
if you go every other day, it would alternate days, then the next week it would probably be,
well, we want to keep Monday because we're having concerts, and that's the day before concerts, because they're down there
so just repeat
mowing
it.
and whatever, and fixing up the area,
So Monday, Wednesday,
Friday and Sunday.
Friday, Sunday, and then back again Monday?
I don't, that doesn't,
Hmm?
doesn't sound right, no.
Why?
Dan can have Sunday and Monday.
Well,
Well, you gotta get
because
it.
it's the beginning of the week, and,
Yeah, if they've been there Sunday, they'll come back Monday.
yeah, we did them.
But then we will have, I know there's a graduation party or two, some weddings, I didn't look through the day of the week those
Saturdays usually.
are. We're talking,
It's the one we just approved.
we're talking $10 a visit, right?
Yeah.
That's, we might better have them done, have them cleaned.
Mhm.
Because it's what, 8, 9 weeks, or, how many weeks is it now? Wow, no,
Well, for the,
So, end of October.
7th, 7th.
I didn't count the number.
September, October.
The wedding we just approved is on 7/7, which is a Friday, but usually people get married on
Friday or
Saturday.
Saturdays.
you do it through the one, November 1st, you said?
End of October, yeah.
Halloween is on a Tuesday.
That's 6 months. 26 weeks.
This is gonna be less, if that's the way the lane is, that'd be less expensive than probably what we have been paying. Don't you think?
I don't know what Cook
He was
was
paying
getting.
around 20 some, I think he budgeted 20-some $100, but he was also opening the gates and closing the gates.
So is there a motion? Are we
You wanna
gonna
move and
maintain-
try it for half the period and see how it goes, or try it for a month or two, and if we like it, we'll just extend it. And give us an idea if we think it's too often or not enough, or what.
I don't care. I just,
What's the motion?
Are you looking 2 times a day?
No,
2 times a day?
once a day.
once, that's all,
Once a day.
that's all he does, isn't it?
Cooking? No, he's 2 or 3 times a day, he
Well,
checks them.
He doesn't have anything else.
Well, I don't think we need them checked 2
No,
times
I'm
a
just
day.
saying, he's gone in there and the toilet's been overflowing.
Yeah.
So it's,
I don't know the kind of people that come.
I know it. The walkers are great, it's the little children, they're vandals.
Does
Just
them
saying.
fans come on with the door with the lights?
Yeah,
Okay. Because I checked them the other day and I heard the noise and I thought the toilet was running and the other one, I went over now and it wasn't running, so I went back and that point fan's noisy on that one. Sounds like water run.
Yeah, automatic. I'm just saying, I mean, there's been times when Cookie's gone there in the afternoon and the toilet's been plugged or water running out the door.
Yep.
Oh.
All
You
right,
wanna try it
so,
on a short-term basis, you wanna go for the whole season, what do you think you wanna do?
I would like to resume what we had before. That worked out good, right?
Well, he was around there every day.
yeah. So I'll make a motion that we do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. It doesn't, I agree with you, it doesn't make much
Yeah, I
sense to
don't
come
think it's
back
gonna
and
be
do
a
that.
big difference.
But at least 4 times, how about we just make a motion, it gets done 4 times a week?
Separate days.
It's like 27.
4 days a week
4 days a week.
27 days.
That'll be my motion, 4 days a week
for,
into the end of October.
okay, and to hire
Um,
the one that we,
Yeah, Bill, the one Bill talked
the
about.
one that Bill got, the one that's currently doing our stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll second.
Michelle Ross, I think is her name.
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Dave, what was the price on it?
$10 a day.
$10 a day.
Yeah, right. How many days did I, weeks?
4.
4,
How many weeks did I say?
27.
27? So it's 40 times that.
A little over $1,000, I think, right? Something like that.
Great.
12, 1300.
And then if we find that we have to increase it, we can increase it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carried. We've got another application from a fire company, and we need to acknowledge, everybody get a copy of this?
I'll move to acknowledge David Wolf as a new member.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We got a water bill from a resident on Second Street. The bill came through. It appears that everybody get a copy? Appears that a check was written. The owner of the property gave us the check number and all. She stated that the bill was never posted to the bank for payment. Brought in a check, didn't want a receipt, left it on the counter apparently, and when they opened the envelope, it's for this April payment, doesn't address the previous one. The previous one included late charges. My position was take the money for the current bill, and then we'll deal with the other one, which we can just add to taxes, and all that's pretty clear in the law. But, you know, Anna brought me something that came from Conference of Mayors on partial payments. Our staff is calling it a partial payment, and they said they can't accept partial payments. And I maintain it's not a partial payment, they're paying this 6-month bill. And we maybe, I don't know if you want to take a look at that, what's been given to them. I looked in our code, didn't find anything. This is the check in the
It
bill.
just says semi-annually in the code.
Yeah, but it comes down to, apparently they think it's gonna be a problem with our software, but on the side of the property owner, who we represent, I think it compounds it not to accept this payment. I think legally we may be bound to accept it, but counselor can rule on that. But if we don't accept it, it just means we're gonna add another late charge of $23. And then we're at odds with one of our constituents. And I think we should take the payment and post it and add the other one to the tax bill. So, but bring it to the board and see if we can have a consensus on how to deal with
Wouldn't
it.
that automatically be added in June
Yeah, we'll go on the tax bill.
or July,
Well, the recommendation, basically for the handbook for the village officials indicates that certainly they don't recommend partial payments. And if you deem this not to be a partial payment, it's logical, it's the whole payment of the bill. But what you've left is the unpaid bill and the unpaid penalties. So here the recommendation is that there be an appropriate board established policy as to how these payments are going to be accepted and applied. And then obviously treat all residents equally in the same manner. I just want to say that as a practitioner in the area, when I'm doing a real estate closing, I search not only the title, but the municipal charges. And when you do a search, you're looking for are the current bills paid. If you start to implement a policy where you'll accept payment of a current bill, and you leave an earlier bill with penalties unpaid, yeah, it eventually make its way to taxes, but you've also created some gray area there in the period before it gets on the taxes. So just be aware of that. That is that you could basically be creating a little ticking bomb there for the new owner who has had a thorough search done on the municipal taxes and water bills that should have been paid. It hasn't been re-levied onto that tax bill. It's just hanging here, waiting to be re-levied, and you accepted a more recent payment. That's sort of an interesting anomaly going on there.
Well, we have a procedure for re-levying, right?
You do, but it takes the procedure takes time. In other words, the due date comes and goes, and the penalty starts to apply, but it does not get automatically re-levied onto your tax bill. It follows the next available village tax bill,
Oh, okay.
and that's sometimes many months.
Oh, okay.
So whatever you
So we're talking
choose to
year
do, I
after.
only wanted to educate you. I sure didn't want to talk you out of it or talk you into it. It's just recommended that there be an appropriate board policy.
Does this go to the town and county bill or only the village?
Only the village.
Only the village bill.
You know what, eventually it probably follows if a person doesn't pay their
It goes to
town and county taxes, and
Most
then they don't pay
of it
their
does.
school taxes, the
Yes,
whole
it
lump
does.
eventually goes, yeah,
So it does go there.
eventually.
But is it a partial payment or is it a?
so you're treating it as a delinquent payment.
It's a full payment.
No, the first
bill.
Right.
Yes.
The first one is a delinquent.
Yeah,
That's right, it is
the last
Yeah,
fall.
it is delinquent,
Yeah.
right.
So it's not a partial payment,
You
as
know,
far as I'm concerned.
Me neither.
it doesn't look like a partial payment. And what are you doing to the person who's paying the bill, though? Are they gonna get the special notice that, thank you for your payment, don't forget your other payment's not paid, plus it's still accruing penalties? Do they get notice of that? Because I think they're gonna be surprised too. You think you're doing a good thing for them, but they'll be back pounding on the counter saying that bill was paid.
Well, there's a procedure in place for that type of delinquency, right?
The procedure is months from the events, yes, months later. Months
Yeah,
later.
the next fall.
But if it's on their tax levies, levied under their next taxes,
That's right.
and they dispute it, you say, well, show me your receipt where you paid this, and you take it off, and if you can't, she has paid her current bill, that's still a delinquent bill.
So you think we should
Yeah.
send them a letter under these
I
circumstances?
think you should. You certainly create a little pothole there in the road.
This is an odd situation.
It is very odd.
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the current payment and send out a letter notifying that this temporary.
Yep.
The
If
other
we need to
one-
make a motion on it, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 12, we had a church request to set up a cart with their brochures, but not approach the people down at the gazebo and at farmer's market. Brings up First Amendment questions, separation between church and state. And, I think they've been allowed to do this before, but
for at least 2 years.
I told them I'd just bring it to the board.
They've done it for at least 2 years down at the,
That's no
down at the,
problem.
municipal.
No.
Not that I know of, I haven't heard any complaints. And they don't, the ones that have been there are, you know, kind of passive.
But if you-
And it's public place, so I don't know.
Well, they have the First Amendment right to do it.
Yeah, okay. Then we just acknowledge it, and as long as it isn't something that disruptive, and
If it's not disruptive, they certainly have a First Amendment right to do it.
okay. I think everybody on board with that, I am.
You don't need a resolution on that because there's still a First Amendment whether you resolve it or not.
The next one is authorizing the mayor to sign checks. There's instances where it may be necessary. I don't think it's going to happen here, but if you have we had a spell without a clerk treasurer, and if the deputy treasurer wasn't here, I believe there's a provision in the law that the mayor would sign checks, so I think it'd be proper to have a resolution authorizing me to, if necessary.
Yeah, we also had that discussion 2 meetings ago. I said, as the chief executive officer, if that's your preference and your policy, certainly the mayor can do that.
Do you need a motion for that?
We need it as a-
Oh, you want to authorize you to do all the banking signatory cards and all that so that you're now fully authorized. Yes, you have the executive power to do it, but get the support of the board that says process it at the bank. Get it done.
Okay.
Well,
I don't care either way.
see, huh?
I don't care either way, so
Yeah.
if there's nobody here, then somebody got money coming, they want to pay.
Nobody here, we're in trouble.
So,
No, it's yours.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and authorize the mayor to be able to sign checks.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
One no. Okay, 3 yes, 1 no. I'll take a roll call then. Trustee Gerard?
Yes.
Trustee Bodkin?
Yes.
Trustee Perota?
Yes.
And Trustee Hayes?
no.
Motion carried. Legal services, the board authorized me to hire extra help when needed, with a dollar limit amount through the end of the fiscal year. And for the record, I'd like a motion to authorize an engagement letter with Bartlett, Pontiff, Stewart, Rhodes, and Judge, and I'll be using their labor law attorney, Larry Kaltrowitz, at a rate of $200 an hour. So, somebody want to move that? I'd appreciate it.
I'll make a motion to move it.
In a second.
That's not something they would put up for bid or anything, or have people,
Professional services, you don't have
You don't
to, I
have
mean,
to.
you can, if it was something we were gonna do that was get into a lot of money, then I would say we would do a request for proposals. But,
I can appreciate your need to shop around, but I think Larry Kalschwitz is the very best available.
Yeah, it
And,
is.
you know, so you'd be. maybe-
wasting time.
You'd be wasting time to shop and get a better financial deal. He's an excellent attorney in labor law.
Okay.
And that's outside of what you provide for us?
It is.
Motion
Does a
made,
lot
right?
of labor negotiations for
Motion
many
by
municipalities,
I'll second the motion.
schools, and ACC.
second by trustee Perota, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
How many hours are you looking at for something like that?
15,
Um,
you said 3,000, right?
Well, that was all-inclusive, secretarial, bookkeeping, you know. We were down to one person, and we need to function, so, and now we've got 2 this week, so. Next one is our crime policy. It's been with Selective Insurance. We got a quote from from McPhillips Agency, through Rick Leonelli. And we'll save a little, I think around $100 if we go with Nightmare, which is the company that's writing all of our, the rest of our insurance. So I'm recommending that we do insure it, move our crime policy over to Nightmare. We'll save the money, and then I'd need authorization to do a cancellation on the selective policy, which ran out, I think, May 1st or May 2nd. So now he's bound it with a new company, and he can cancel it with the one, or he'll cancel the new one and the Nightmare, and we'll keep the selective. So what's the board want to do with that?
Are you done looking at brokers?
We haven't did any looking at brokers for these policies. I think you did that, what, a year or two ago?
Yep.
And I think generally you're better off staying with your broker for
Yeah.
3 years on these type policies, and then maybe, unless you've got something you're not satisfied with.
No,
But,
I've been satisfied with them, because I've met with them a few
but
times.
same agency, same broker, just he'll place it with a different company.
Right, okay.
The ones that I've been interviewing are healthcare specialists.
Oh, okay.
So we have a motion to authorize that?
Yeah, I'll move to approve that.
I'll second it.
Okay. Trustee Crowd and trustee Gerard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 16, Memorial Day Parade. Just announced that the parade is scheduled. It's Friday, May 26th. It'll start at 6 o'clock. I believe, as the board all got letters?
Yep.
Requesting their presence and all, so yeah, we give the public a chance to know that it is gonna happen, and thanks to the people that have been involved that do all the work behind the scenes to make it happen. Fee schedules, organizational meeting, we adopted a fee schedule. I didn't realize there is a fee schedule in for handicap ramps.
I didn't either.
I spoke with Joe Patrick, and I was in favor of not charging a fee for, a building permit fee for handicap ramps. Joe suggested we keep it on for commercial ones, but not necessarily for residential. But this is when people are in a time of need, and I think for whatever our fee is, that we might better not have one on residential handicap ramps.
Did you charge a fee for that at one time?
Pardon?
Was there a fee charged for that at one time, or
I
not?
was told there was, but I
Is that
haven't.
for building permit to do it?
Building permit, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize there was.
I would make a motion that we do
Delete
not
that
charge.
from our fee
Yeah,
schedule
for
for
residential
residential
and-
handicap
Yeah.
permit ramps. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Gerard and trustee Bodkin, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Bob Murray, through the Chazen Group, does it, the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant program, and he's working on the income survey that was done last year, and they still need more responses. So they've asked me to announce that he'll be going door to door, concentrating on the following streets: Jackson Avenue, Wilson Avenue, Baker Avenue, and Haviland Avenue, between May 4th and May 9th. And he'll be out afternoons and evenings. I've notified the police chief, and be nice to get some cooperation from the public that might help us become eligible for grants for water infrastructure in that area. That's just an announcement.
And that grant is due July 28th.
'cause this is, that grant, you're eligible for up to $750,000, so we could make a score on that one, it would help the village a lot, especially in those areas. Number 19, we have what they call an ESCO, an energy supply company, on our energy bills. And I've looked through the file, the last contract I can find signed was good through, was dated 2011. It does continue on a month-to-month basis. And it's with, well, it was originally with US Gas and Electric, but I think they're associated now with New York State Gas and Electric, and it's one of these where they change companies and buying up other ones over.
Well, I think there was two. There was one for, we had one for electrical first, and then added gas. I didn't know they were the same. They may not be.
Well, this one says it's for 7 accounts, but they only listed 6, so
For gas?
I'm not sure if it's electric or gas or both. It's for it's the Energy Choice Program, so my guess is I'm thinking it must be electric. But it could be one, could be both, I don't know.
Well, that might be, because we have gas at the water plant, but it's still propane, because there is no main down there, other than the big high powered one.
Now, are they companies that supply power instead of National Grid?
Yes.
You gotta compare those, because
Yeah,
I've gone back to National Grid, and there's a big difference after a while.
yeah.
National Grid's been very competitive.
Yeah.
They're running about 3.5 to 4 cents per kilowatt.
Well, I think somebody should look and see if we have saved money or we haven't, and how our rates are compared to what's
Well, you gotta compare your current rates now to what
On
they're
the
doing, you're
market
gonna find, I
today.
think, National Grid has got them all.
I think we fired before like these.
You did, you hired
Companies
an
to do-
independent, they work for free, but when they find where they have saved money for you, they take a
They get a
percentage. of it.
percentage, yes.
Right. Well, I wanted to ask you a question, wasn't there a contract, I recall reviewing it, where National Grid and the village entered into an agreement, and it had to do with the replacement of these fancy high-energy
Lights?
lights. So, I mean, it must be, National Grid must be your supplier. I recall reviewing that contract.
Yeah, well, there's
No,
one is a utility for the kilowatts, and the other is for over-the-line,
One's delivery, one's,
yeah.
Right.
one's supply and one's delivery.
Okay.
But the delivery is National Grid because that's still regulated. And when they did deregulation, your supply, then you could buy from whoever you wanted. They called it Power Choice originally. But what you're talking about, Mike, I think is a separate program that National Grid was involved in to conserve energy, and we found those 2 contracts
You did, okay.
that you're talking about,
Right.
and they weren't funded in
Okay.
the budget. So that's why we're gonna run out of money in that one account by the end of the year. And the second contract, the work is done, and to my knowledge, we've never been billed for it. Nobody can find anything on it, that the lights have been changed.
Well, that's good,
That's when
that
they
one's
went to-
unfunded then.
When they went to the LED, that's when they went to the LEDs. And I called National Grid, and they don't get back to me.
All right, we
But
don't want
this
to
is
chase, you don't want to chase them too hard for a bill they didn't send you.
This is completely different. This is the supply side. And I don't know if anybody on the board wants to volunteer to look into this. I've been given the name of one of these energy advisors that does sell for one of these ESCOs. And there's a lot of ESCOs out there.
I
And
think
they
all you
go,
gotta do is compare your rates with what you've got now and what Niagara Mohawk, National Grid, it'll tell you what their rate would be.
Well, we need to know, if we're gonna shop it, we need to know what the other ESCOs, what they're gonna charge.
Oh, all
That-
right,
that we
all right,
don't
yeah,
know.
but you gotta be
But I
careful.
know some of your neighbors
Mm.
that have came to me, and they were paying a ridiculous
To National Grid?
to an ESCO, no, one of these.
Yeah,
other-
right, and I've done the same thing, and I've switched over, and the church was the same way.
Well, that's,
and
they
big
were,
savings.
they were being took. I
Going
thought,
back to National
big
Grid,
time.
yeah.
Uh,
Because they hook you with a low rate, and then you forget about it.
The devil's in the details, all in the fine print.
Yeah.
Read.
And you've gotta compare those two, because it, and
The
and
town of
sometimes,
Monroe has had a power purchase agreement and worked with a group called Mega, which the county's hooked up with. And so lately, last several years, the Constellation Energy Services had a power purchase agreement with the town of Monroe, but their rate has been, that I've been monitoring the last 3 or 4 years for the town, has been higher, 2 to 3 cents higher based on the agreement. They lowered it to 5.2 cents for the next 2 years. And right now, National Grid is 3.6 to 4.2 cents per kilowatt. So you're probably best, and I'm telling the board to go, town board, to stay with National Grid as your supply.
And as of now, our bills, and there's probably some in that warrant, you'll see they're US gas and electric.
right.
So does anybody wanna volunteer to work on that, or do you want me to just get whatever information I can over the period of time? It's just who can get to it first, I think. Or if anybody wants to come in and see me, how's that sound? Route 9 sewer. We haven't got the bill yet. The project ran into 4 days. Brian, you wanna report on that? Anything to,
Yeah, like you said, we haven't seen the bill yet either,
yeah.
but I think everything went smoothly, it went nice. They replaced 15 feet of 10-inch pipe, and replaced the service entrance that was in the ditch. I think they did a hell of a job. And it was a little tricky, the ground was caving in underneath they had double stacked French boxes, and the ground kept caving in. They ended up putting steel plates down beside the cages to go deeper. So that held them up a little bit, but other than that, it went pretty good.
Yeah, the only thing in hindsight is I wish we'd done our own patch, because we ran into a whole extra day patching that road.
Well, they were,
Um,
yeah, they were stoning it still first thing in the morning, but the stuff they were working with, they had to put 8 inches of that subsurface, and we couldn't have raked that. I mean, they had that track hoe with the wide bucket that scooped it out and spread it around nicely. We couldn't have raked that stuff. So,
Did you do it in 4 lifts?
3 lifts,
3
4,
lifts.
4, and 4. With the top 4 was binder. All in all, I think it went pretty good.
No traffic accidents and no people hurt.
No.
Safety was a big thing on something that deep. I'm glad to see it behind us, but the reason I put this on here is when you view the video, there's still a section of pipe that's got some pretty good cracks in there, and it's a type thing that I think we should be looking at lining from manhole to manhole, and maybe avoiding something as expensive as this was. So I don't know what the board wants to do with that. Everybody's welcome to come in and look at the video. One thing we did find, the video said it was 8-inch pipe and turned out to be 10. But it's a good clear video. You can see where there's a potential problem coming down the road. And we had looked at whether we would take that about 60 feet to get to that next problem area. And contractor told me they wouldn't chase that they would normally just move and dig a second hole and do a repair there. But lining it with a liner, if you pull the liner through it, cures in place, it'll give it some stability. I think we might avoid ourselves a problem and a less expensive repair if we look at doing something like that, so.
No question about it.
If you want, we can get some quotes on it. I'm trying to find some grant money.
Do we have money in the budget for lighting?
Well, we had for some partial.
I
Right,
think
but I don't know
that's
how
in-
quick they could get to it, I don't know if they could get to it before.
That's
the
in the current budget, right?
Right.
Not in our new budget.
Right.
In our new budget, I thought that we put some money in there.
No,
You requested it.
right, we changed it, took it out, we wanna do some camera.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is, rural water will do free videoing
For a
for
couple days.
days.
Yeah,
And they've done some in the past, plus, under a planning engineering grant, the village got a grant for, I think, $35,000 in the
Yes.
past. And they did a sewer evaluation study,
Right.
and those videos are available, and I think we keep videoing, and I'd like to see all of our pipe videos so we know what we've got there.
Well, as a background on that $35,000 grant, we did all the things I talked about. Rural water did that, so it didn't cost us anything for a lot of that. We applied the next year for a $100,000 grant, which we were gonna televise the rest of the system. And, in the, part of that grant was that we would end up with a camera, so we could do some of the stuff ourselves. And we followed the directions of EFC, and it didn't work out. We didn't get the grant, so, but, yeah, we tried.
Well, it's a good start, and I think
Yeah.
the city of Glens Falls has a camera, and we might be able to, between rural water and the city, I would hope maybe we can finish it up.
The ones the city charges.
I think we meet with the mayor and see what
Oh,
we can get done, or we talk to somebody that lives in the village that might have some ideas.
well, Jackson, something.
Sure, but not my show.
Jackson, something, so.
Yeah.
Check it out for the
Diamond.
meeting.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well,
Well, I
he doesn't call a lot
graduated.
of people anymore. But Lake George does it too, but it's like, what, $750 a
no, I don't know what he, I don't
A day,
remember what,
something
I
like
thought it was
that?
like $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blaze offered to send his crew down
So we should be able to get that.
for a price, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, let's give me some prices then. We'll find out, we'll try and plan where we can get it all done. How's that sound?
We can do that,
Do we literally have 2 sewer lines on Chestnut Street?
yes.
And where's the water line? Do we have separation on the water?
Yeah, water's, I think, in the middle of the road, the 2 sewer lines are on the edge.
I saw a map for the first time today. Brady stopped in and brought me this is the report that you got the grant for
yeah.
in the maps. And so it's gonna be interesting. I look forward to going through it. And he's in there, he's some guidelines on valve exercising and maintenance and hydrants that we started to.
We've been out repairing hydrants. Kids out there painting them now, but some of the hydrants we have are outdated and we can't get parts for them. So we're trying to scavenge some parts to fix them.
Well, we've been replacing valves on a regular basis now too.
Yeah, replacing valves, replacing hydrants.
And where are we on fire flow tests?
As in what?
On all the hydrants?
No, we haven't had them tested fire flow on all of them, no.
Okay.
I don't remember last time we did a fire flow was on First Street, and we did one on Hudson Street last year.
Do we have the equipment to do them ourselves?
We just got part of it. We got the one that does the pressure test at the hydrant, but we don't have the rest of it to go to the next hydrant down and get the static pressure and stuff. We gotta finish getting the kit.
And we have a time when we are gonna do that, huh?
No, we haven't even scheduled it, no.
Are we gonna get what you need to finish it up?
Yeah.
You got money in your budget for that?
No,
Did you ask for it?
no. I mean, it's not expensive, it's just a little gauge that I'm looking at.
We got one, didn't we? So,
Yeah, we got the partial one that does it right at the hydrant, but we didn't get the gauge and the other thing go on the other hydrant for static.
I'd like to see, so that, I think we need a hydraulic model, I think that's a priority, and I think we need to do fire flow, and we should know what's at each one of our hydrants. Some places are color coding their hydrants, so they, when the firemen pull up to the hydrant, they know what they can expect.
We did that years ago here, but since then it's faded off and we've replaced hydrants and they're just red,
And we didn't,
never color coded them.
do we have a valve exercising maintenance program?
No,
What do you think of that?
good idea.
we need to do it.
Good. Those are some goals I'd like to set up.
There's money in the budget for replacement, that's all.
What's the story on the two that are bagged? You got two hydrants bagged,
Be over on Prospect Street, they're on the old dead line,
so what are we gonna do with them?
we're gonna take them out.
Okay,
That's why they're bagged, they're dry.
that's what I was wondering. Yeah. And we said there was none on Charles, there is one off of Henry, but it's feeding off a 6-inch line rather than the line on Charles is what, 8?
12.
12, yeah, so. We had a note from Brady also about the village should be updated on the IUP listing, which is the intended use plan, and he said he would do that for us today. It's not a big deal, but it'll get done this way, so. And then the governor announced recently that there's $255 million available now in funding for drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. So we're going to look to see where we fit in on that. Apparently we didn't apply for one of these first rounds, got turned down on the second round. Part of that was this project, which is around, I haven't looked at it yet, I think he said around $850,000, but we need to talk about our plant, our pump station on First Street. Do we want to spend the money for the bypass and the rails and video cameraing and sewer lining of pipes? Or see first if we can get some of this grant. But this grant's at only 25%. You gotta come up with 75%. But if we're gonna buy money for like SCADA, the SCADA program of like $20,000, if we can get a quarter of that paid through that, we may wanna decide whether we wanna just keep Band-Aid approach to it or whether we wanna have a new plant. Yeah, but it depends on what the amortization on the loan would be. But I think we should look at that before we spend a lot of money and then.
Well, you can read about it in the Tri-County sewage study, infrastructure study. And it's- the only part from over here is a new pump station down there.
Andy told me that because of this grant, that they're after us, want to know why we're not pushing to go ahead and get the work done, because the state put the money in to pay to get this work done, and then through Rick Lane Alley, and it will save a little, I think around $100 if we go with Nightmare, which is the company that's writing all of our, the rest of our insurance. So I'm recommending that we do insure it, move our crime policy over to Nightmare. We'll save the money, and then I'd need authorization to do a cancellation on the selective policy, which ran out, I think, May 1st or May 2nd. So now he's bound it with a new company, and he can cancel it with the one, or he'll cancel the new one and the Nightmare, and we'll keep the selective. So what's the board want to do with that?
Are you done looking at brokers?
We haven't did any looking at brokers for these policies. I think you did that, what, a year or two ago?
Yep.
And I think generally you're better off staying with your broker for
Yeah.
3 years on these type policies, and then maybe, unless you've got something you're not satisfied with.
No,
But,
I've been satisfied with them, because I've met with them a few
but
times.
same agency, same broker, just he'll place it with a different company.
Right, okay.
The ones that I've been interviewing are healthcare specialists.
Oh, okay.
So we have a motion to authorize that?
Yeah, I'll move to approve that.
I'll second it.
Okay. Trustee Crowder and trustee Gerard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 16, Memorial Day Parade. Just announced that the parade is scheduled. It's Friday, May 26th. It'll start at 6 o'clock. I believe as the board all got letters.
Yep.
Requesting their presence and all, so it'll give the public a chance to know that it is gonna happen, and thanks to the people that have been involved that do all the work behind the scenes to make it happen. Fee schedules, organizational meeting, we adopted a fee schedule. I didn't realize there is a fee schedule in for handicap ramps.
I didn't either.
I spoke with Joe Patrick, and I was in favor of not charging a fee for, a building permit fee for handicap ramps. Joe suggested we keep it on for commercial ones, but not necessarily for residential. But this is when people are in a time of need, and I think for whatever our fee is, that we might better not have one on residential handicap ramps. So,
Did you charge a fee for that at one time?
pardon?
Was there a fee charged for that at one time, or
I
not?
was told there was, but I
Is that
haven't.
for building permit to do it?
Building permit, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize there was.
I would make a motion that we do
Delete
not
that
charge.
from our fee
Yeah,
schedule
for
for residential
residential only.
handicap
Yeah.
permit
Yep.
ramps. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Dave Gerard, trustee Bodkin, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Bob Murray through the Chazen Group does the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant program, and he's working on the income survey that was done last year, and they still need more responses. So they've asked me to announce that he'll be going door to door, concentrating on the following streets: Jackson Avenue, Wilson Avenue, Baker Avenue, and Haviland Avenue, between May 4th and May 9th. And he'll be out afternoons and evenings. I've notified the police chief, and be nice to get some cooperation from the public that might help us become eligible for grants for water infrastructure in that area. That's just an announcement.
And that grant is due July 28th.
This is, that grant, you're eligible for up to $750,000, so we could make a score on that one. It would help the village a lot, especially in those areas. Number 19, we have what they call an ESCO, an energy supply company, on our energy bills. And I've looked through the file. The last contract I can find signed was good through, was dated 2011. It does continue on a month-to-month basis. And it's with, well, it was originally with U.S. Gas and Electric, but I think they're associated now with New York State Gas and Electric, and it's one of these where they change companies and buying up other ones over.
But I think there was two, there was one for, had one for electrical first, and then added gas. I didn't know they were the same. They may not be.
Well, this one says it's for 7 accounts, but they've only listed 6, so,
For gas?
I'm not sure if it's electric or gas or both. It's it's the Energy Choice Program, so my guess is I'm thinking it must be electric. But it could be both, I don't know.
Well, that might be, because we have gas at the water plant, but it's still propane, because there is no main down there, other than the big high powered one.
Now, are they companies that supply power instead of National Grid?
Yes.
You gotta compare those, because
Yeah.
I've gone back to National Grid, there's a big difference after a while.
Yeah.
National Grid's been very competitive.
Yeah.
They're running about 3.5 to 4 cents per kilowatt.
Well, I think somebody should look and see if we have saved money or we haven't, and how our rates are compared to what's
Well, you
on the
gotta compare
market.
your current rates now to what
On
they're
the
doing,
market
you're gonna find, I
today.
think, National Grid has got them all
I
beat.
think we've hired before like these,
You did, you hired
Companies
an
to do-
independent, they work for free, but when they find where they have saved money for you, they take a
they get a
percentage of it.
percentage, yes.
Right. Well, I wanted to ask you a question, wasn't there a contract, I recall reviewing it, where National Grid and the village entered into an agreement, and it had to do with the replacement of these fancy high-energy
Lights?
lights. So, I mean, it must be, National Grid must be your supplier. I recall reviewing that contract.
Yeah, well,
No,
one is a utility for the kilowatts, and the other is for over the line.
One's delivery, one's,
Right, right.
one's supply and one's delivery.
Okay.
But the delivery is National Grid because that's still regulated. And when they did deregulation, your supply, then you could buy from whoever you wanted, that's called a power choice originally. But what you're talking about, Mike, I think is a separate program that National Grid was involved in to conserve energy, and we found those 2 contracts
You did, okay.
that you're talking about,
Right.
and they weren't funded
Okay.
in the budget. So that's why we're gonna run out of money in that one account by the end of the year. And the second contract, the work was done, and we, to my knowledge, we've never been billed for it. Nobody can find anything on it, that the lights have been
Well,
changed.
that's good,
That's when
that
they
one's
went to-
unfunded then.
When they went to the LED, that's when they went to the LEDs. And I called National Grid, and they don't get back to me.
All right, we
But
don't want
this
to
is
chase,
com-
you don't want to chase them too hard for a bill they didn't send you.
This is completely different. This is the supply side. And I don't know if anybody on the board wants to volunteer to look into this. I've been given the name of a one of these energy advisors that does sell for one of these ESCOs. And there's a lot of ESCOs out there.
I
And they
think all you
go,
gotta do is compare your rates with what you've got now and what Niagara Mohawk, National Grid, it'll tell you what their rate would be.
well, we need to know, if we're gonna shop, we need to know what the other ESCOs, what they're gonna charge.
Oh, all
That-
right,
that we
all right,
don't
yeah,
know.
but you gotta be
But I
careful.
know I know
There's
some
hundreds
of
of
your
them.
neighbors that have came to me, and they were paying a ridiculous
To National Grid?
to an ESCO, no, one of these.
Yeah,
other-
right, and I've done the same thing, and I've switched over, and the church was the same way,
Well, that's,
and
they
big
were,
savings.
they were being took. I
going
thought,
back to National
big
Grid,
time.
yeah.
Uh,
Because they hook you with a low rate, and then you forget about it.
The devil's in the details, all in the fine print. Read.
And you've gotta compare those two, because
The
and
town of
sometimes,
Monroe has had a power purchase agreement and worked with a group called Mega, which the county's hooked up with. And so lately, last several years, the Constellation Energy Services had a power purchase agreement with the town of Monroe, but their rate has been, that I've been monitoring the last 3 or 4 years for the town, has been higher, 2 to 3 cents higher based on the agreement. They lowered it to 5.2 cents for the next 2 years. And right now, National Grid is 3.6 to 4.2 cents per kilowatt. So you're probably best, and I'm telling the board to go, town board, to stay with National Grid as your supply.
But as of now, our bills, and there's probably some in that warrant, you'll see they're US gas and electric.
Right.
So does anybody wanna volunteer to work on that, or do you want me to just get whatever information I can over a period of time? It's just who can get to it first, I think. Or if anybody wants to come in and see me. How's that sound? Route 9 sewer. We haven't got the bill yet. The project ran into 4 days. Brian, you want to report on that? Anything to?
Yeah, like you said, we haven't seen the bill yet either.
Yeah.
But I think everything went smoothly. It went nice. They replaced 15 feet of 10-inch pipe. And replaced the service entrance that was in the ditch. I think they did a hell of a job. And it was a little tricky. The ground was caving in underneath they had double stacked French boxes. And the ground kept caving in. They ended up putting steel plates down beside the cages to go deeper. So that held them up a little bit, but other than that, it went pretty good.
Yeah, the only thing in hindsight is I wish we'd done our own patch, because we ran into a whole extra day patching that road.
Well, they were stoning it still first thing in the morning, but the stuff they were working with, they had to put 8 inches of that subsurface, and we couldn't have raked that. I mean, they had that track hoe with the wide bucket that scooped it out and spread it around nicely. We couldn't have raked that stuff. So,
Did you do it in 4 lifts?
3 lifts,
3
4,
lifts.
4, and 4. With the top 4 was binder. All in all, I think it went pretty good.
No traffic accidents and no people hurt.
No.
Safety was a big thing on something that deep. I'm glad to see it behind us, but the reason I put this on here is when you view the video, there's still a section of pipe that's got some pretty good cracks in there, and it's a type thing that I think we should be looking at lining from manhole to manhole, and maybe avoiding something as expensive as this was. So I don't know what the board wants to do with that. Everybody's welcome to come in and look at the video. One thing we did find, the video said it was 8-inch pipe and turned out to be 10. But it's a good clear video. You can see where there's a potential problem coming down the road. And we had looked at whether we would take that about 60 feet to get to that next problem area. And contractor told me they wouldn't chase that they would normally just move and dig a second hole and do a repair there. But lining it with a liner, if you pull the liner through it, cures in place, it'll give it some stability. I think we might avoid ourselves a problem and a less expensive repair if we look at doing something like that. So
No question about it.
if you want, we can get some quotes on it. I'm trying to find some grant money.
Do we have money in the budget for lining?
Well, we had for some partial.
Right, but I don't know how quick they could get to it. I don't know if they could get to it before.
That's in the current budget, right?
Right.
Not in our new budget.
Right.
In our new budget, I thought that we put some money in there.
No,
We requested it.
right, we changed it, took it out, we want to do some camera.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is rural water will do free videoing
For a
for a
couple
couple
days.
days.
Yeah,
And they've done some in the past, plus under a planning engineering grant, the village got a grant for, I think, $35,000 in the
Yes.
past. And they did a sewer evaluation study,
Right.
and those videos are available, and I think we keep videoing, and I'd like to see all of our pipe videos so we know what we've got there.
Well, background on that $35,000 grant, we did all the things I talked about. Rural water did that, so it didn't cost us anything for a lot of that. We applied the next year for a $100,000 grant, which we were gonna televise the rest of the system. And in the, part of that grant was that we would end up with a camera so we could do some of the stuff ourselves. And we followed the directions of EFC and it didn't work out. We didn't get the grant, so, but, yeah, we tried.
Well, it's a good start, and I think
Yeah.
the city of Glens Falls has a camera, and we might be able to, between rural water and the city, I would hope maybe we can finish it up.
Once the city charges.
I think we meet with the mayor and see
Oh,
what we can get done, or we talk to somebody that lives in the village that might have some ideas.
well, Jackson something.
Sure, not my show.
Jackson something, well,
Okay.
Check it out for the
Diamond.
meeting.
Is he? Really? Yeah, I didn't know that.
no.
Well, I
He doesn't call a lot
graduated.
of people anymore. But Lake George does it too, but it's like, what, $750 a
No, I don't know what he, I don't
A day,
remember what,
something
I
like
thought it was
that?
like $1,000. But yeah, Blaze offered to send his crew down
So we should be able to get that.
for a price, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, let's give me some prices then. We'll find out, and we'll try and plan where we can get it all done. How's that sound?
We can do that,
Do we literally have 2 sewer lines on Chestnut Street?
yes.
And where's the water line? Do we have separation on the water?
Yeah, water's, I think, to the middle of the road. The 2 sewer lines are on the edge.
I saw a map for the first time today. Brady stopped in and brought me this is a report that you got the grant for
yeah.
in the maps. And so it's gonna be interesting. I look forward to going through it. And he's in there is some guidelines on valve exercising and maintenance and hydrants. Have we started to?
We've been out repairing hydrants. Kids out there painting them now, but some of the hydrants we have are outdated and we can't get parts for them. So we're trying to scavenge some parts to fix them.
Well, we've been replacing valves on a regular basis though too.
Yeah, replacing valves, replacing hydrants.
And where are we in fire flow tests?
As in what?
On all the hydrants?
No, we haven't had them tested fire flow on all of them, no. I don't remember last time we did a fire flow was on First Street, and we did one on Hudson Street last year.
Do we have the equipment to do them ourselves?
We just got part of it. We got the one that does the pressure test at the hydrant, but we don't have the rest of it to go to the next hydrant down and get the static pressure and stuff. We gotta finish getting the kit.
And we have a time when we are gonna do that, huh?
No, we haven't even scheduled it, no.
Are we gonna get what you need to finish it up?
Yeah.
You got money in your budget for that?
No,
Did you ask for it?
no. I mean, it's not expensive, it's just a little gauge that I'm looking at.
We got one, didn't we?
Yeah, we got the partial one that does it right at the hydrant, but we didn't get the gauge and the other thing go on the other hydrant for static.
I'd like to see, so that, I think we need a hydraulic model, I think that's a priority, and I think we need to do fire flow, and we should know what's at each one of our hydrants. Some places are color coding their hydrants, so when the firemen pull up to the hydrant, they know what they can expect.
We did that years ago here, but since then it's faded off and we've replaced hydrants and they're just red.
And we didn't,
Never color coded them.
do we have a valve exercising maintenance program?
No,
What do you think of that?
We
Good
need-
idea.
We need to do it.
Good. Those are some goals I'd like to set up.
there's money in the budget for replacement, that's all.
What's the story on the 2 that are bagged? You got 2 hydrants bagged?
Be over on Prospect Street, they're on the old dead line, they're
So what are we gonna do with them?
We're gonna take them out.
Okay,
That's why they're bagged. They're dry.
that's what I was wondering. Yeah. And we said there was none on Charles. There is one off of Henry.
Yeah.
But it's feeding off a 6-inch line rather than the line on Charles is what, 8?
12.
12, yeah, so. We had a note from Brady also about the village should be updated on the IUP listing, which is the intended use plan, and he said he would do that for us today. It's not a big deal, but it'll get done this way, so. And then the governor announced recently that there's $255 million available now in funding for drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. So we're gonna look to see where we fit in on that. Apparently we didn't apply for one of these first rounds, got turned down on the second round. Part of that was this project, which is around, I haven't looked at it yet, I think he said around $850,000, but we need to talk about our plant, our pump station on First Street. Do we want to spend the money for the bypass and the rails and video cameraing and sewer lining of pipes? Or see first if we can get some of this grant. But this grant's only 25%. You gotta come up with 75%. But if we're gonna buy money for like SCADA, the SCADA program, like $20,000, if we can get a quarter of that paid through that, we may wanna decide whether we wanna just keep Band-Aid approach to it, or whether we wanna have a new plant. But it depends on what the amortization on a loan would be. But I think we should look at that before we spend a lot of money, and then.
Well, you can read about it in the Tri-County sewage study, infrastructure study. The only part from over here is a new pump station down there.
Andy told me that because of this grant, that they're after us, want to know why we're not pushing to go ahead and get the work done, because the state put the money in to pay to get this work done, and then that's where it's at, because what Brady thought was because it was only 25% funding.
Is that the sewer stuff?
Yeah. So I don't know whether we should take a second look at that or not, I don't know, where the board is on it at this point, but,
I personally would like to get as much grant money as we can.
yeah.
I'd personally like to see a whole new station.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe we ought to look at whether we do the bypass or not, and,
Well, I think you'd have to have a bypass anyway, wouldn't you?
but it may not be in
No.
the same place.
But we're not, yeah, but,
It would be further down.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, how far along would that take? A couple of years to go through all that stuff when we need the rails replaced, so. You gotta get the bypass in.
But can you pump if we don't do the bypass? Can you pump and change your rails or no?
No, because you're gonna be pumping out of a manhole, you'll have trucks running 24/7. You're talking 2 or 3 days to replace rails, so. no.
Alright. As far as lining that from manhole to manhole down by storage, do you want us to, I don't know if that may not come into a bid amount under general municipal law. So if it doesn't, do you want to get prices on it?
Well, you can get a price anyway, just to see
Just for
what the
budget
ballpark
purposes?
is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll go through my notes, but I think it's less than,
You had
I
a
think
price,
it's between $55 and $75 a foot. Is that
The last quote I got was 55 a foot,
okay.
but I can make phone calls
And
tomorrow
that's
morning.
about 300 feet, right?
Yeah, 303, something.
Yeah. You wanna have Brian
sure,
get some quotes on it?
that's for, they reline they line the manholes too, right?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, we talking just lining the pipe itself, or do you wanna go ahead and do the manholes too? They're little red bricks and they're not in the best of shape.
I had no discussion on that, but
I'll just for the heck of it.
price it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on your paper, not mine, right?
Yeah.
Right over there.
You gotta have shorter agendas here, Gary.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 10.
SCADA, on the SCADA, I just, we had, this is at Aqualogics about the warning systems, and we had we asked about what it would cost, any other extra costs, and we got a quote from Brian this week that it's $84.99 a month for the internet for that. So,
And then $100 the initial installation.
yeah, the initial's not the big thing, it's a lifetime
Nick
fee
had a
for,
thing, Nick had a thing there.
Yeah, I had a advertisement from them in the mail today for businesses, and it said $44.99 for the internet per month when bundled, and I don't know what it takes to have a bundle.
Well, I was gonna say, we don't have phone service there, so there's nothing to bundle.
Right, but even if you were to pay the $29.99 for the bundle, it comes to $74.98. So it's $10 less than what they quoted us, but we don't already have internet down there?
No.
Okay.
the other thing is I asked Brady today, why they couldn't do wireless and go, because you don't have a line of sight, but I would think we should be able to shoot from our sewer pump station up to the water tower and maybe relay down to the water. So that's something we should look at, because if we can save $85 a month, that's
We
significant.
looked at that at one time, then it was, because we were looking at water meters and the radio controls, and putting an antenna up there, and you have to go to, was it FCC, Tony, that we talked about? And we have to get a certain license and that kind of stuff to do things like that.
So did that seem insurmountable?
I don't know.
$89
We haven't got a
a month?
price of it.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think we ever get a price yet.
I have a meeting scheduled with StoreTech, and that was one of the questions I was gonna ask them about seeing if there's a way for us to have one internet service and then to somehow connect our different buildings. That way we're not paying one on the PD, one on the highway,
Yeah.
one at the water treatment, and now one at the sewer. If there's a way, because that's a sizable expense each month. So I'll see what comes out of that meeting.
I think the police department's gonna be an oddball for you for that, because of all the stuff they get out of the state police and wherever else.
Next item is Wheels for Wishes. This is a email that was sent to us, and they wanted to connect, it wanted to be linked on our website. I don't know if we do that, if we did.
What is the advantage for the village?
I think they want to use our website. I don't know anything about the programs, but.
Our interconnects are just with the schools, the district and the towns, and maybe the county, but we can get to the county
Okay,
through the town.
here it is, this is what they're talking about. It's nonprofit Wheels for Wishes. It's a car donation recycling program that benefits Make-A-Wish Northeast New York. And the reference here is that many communities have found us to be a great resource to include on their website because we are a free service that accepts unwanted vehicles for recycling. So it's sort of like an outlet for people who are on the village website to see that they can dispose of a vehicle through a Make-A-Wish program that's willing to take it off their hands as a donation.
I would imagine you could get bombarded with these type requests, I don't know, what's the board think about it?
I don't know if you'd be bombarded with it, there may be a few, but.
Temporarily too, you know, I don't know if it has to be on there forever, it could be on there for a time period.
I think we get.
Of course, we have a hard time changing our
You don't
website.
get
I
the
was gonna say
agendas
that
on.
our website
Yeah.
says, something that.
We get a bill for every change they make, even putting the agenda on it.
Yeah, it was $137 for the update to the website, and then $45 to fix the mayor's email, and then another $45.
And that stuff, I think we should be doing all in-house with our own website.
I know Bill's been working on trying to get the website.
No, I got out of it now.
How did you?
No.
I mean, you, for 4 years, nothing, I think our website's awful. I'm not sure I would want to
I
hear
think
my
we should do
website.
something with it, it's just, we've got so much on our plate, it just hasn't been time to deal with it. But
You don't want to clutter up your website either.
do we want to respond to this, or what, do we want to take any action on it or not?
Maybe they could go to the community center's page, it's pretty active and they're
All
really
these Wheels
active.
for wishes.
I think at this time we just,
Yeah, send it to the community center.
Oh, no, thank you.
Community service.
Okay. March financials, the board got those. You normally approve these, you receive and file them.
we usually accept them and approve them, yes. I'll make that motion.
Accept them and file them, okay?
I have just one question on 1620-403 complex trash removal. It says we have no available balance in that account. Is that gonna carry us through the rest of the month, or are we gonna have another transfer for that?
I'm sure we'll have a transfer for that.
I looked at that bill today, and, or one of those, did you see what we're paying? Yeah, I think we need to revisit that whole thing. Do we, what's that, like a 10-yard dumpster, or how big is that dumpster, anybody know?
Where, back in here?
Yeah, it's small. I don't think it's.
Do we
what is
need
it,
anything
4,
that
6?
size? Does it get
Yeah, I
filled?
don't
Well,
know.
fire department, I think, uses it too.
I think fire, police, and this building use it,
Right.
but, boy, that's a pretty good sized dumpster. Have you ever seen it fall?
Oh, several times.
Huh?
Several times, especially when we change our filters at the water
Don't
plant.
you have one that's at
No.
DPW also?
No. We just got a couple of little bins on wheels.
We're paying for 2 different hauling services, where's the other one?
Here in DPW, it's the only two that I know of.
Where?
Here in DPW.
So you do have one at DPW?
No, all I have is those little carts.
Oh,
And I don't have a dumpster, I don't have a dumpster.
Residential stuff.
Yeah.
so what goes in this one 12 months out of the year?
Well, she does all the cleanings every week.
The waste baskets here,
Yeah,
yeah.
the waste,
What else?
Police
The waste.
department,
all of our garbages that we the mitts that we empty, the trash cans throughout the village, into that dumpster.
Okay. I'm gonna watch it for sure.
Right outside your window, you
I
gotta.
know it. That's why I get real close. Water towing the dumpster.
I would think we could probably replace it to another vendor.
well, there's enough of them out there.
Yep. Probably get a better deal.
Hmm?
Probably could get a better deal. I don't know who our vendor is, but.
County waste or something.
This one's, the current one's county waste.
Yeah.
Who do you wanna have get the quotes on dumpster?
I can get close on.
You wanna do that,
Sure.
Tim? Good, thanks. We didn't vote on the March financials, I think, did we? We had a motion and second and
Discussion.
discussion.
I did second it.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. DPW reports.
Okay, water totals. For for April. Water was 12,380,000. Yeah, 12,836,000. Next day was 541,000, minimum day of 305,000. Average day of 428,000. Wastewater was 12,360,000. Spring pickup is ongoing, but it actually ends this Friday. Flushing was completed on 420. The Route 9 sewer was repaired. We also had Glens Falls come over with their vac truck, cleaned out about 3 manholes for us from the debris from being backed up and the sand that was washed in. So I haven't seen a bill. I don't think we'll get a bill from the city. And our mowing has begun on 5-1. We did some patching of ditches, repaired around a couple manholes on 5-2. And we talked about the byway spraying. So what did we end up with the byway spraying? What did we say? So I can call these people, or we're not doing it? All
I
right.
think we're just gonna post, you're gonna get the,
Put the tick signs
Department of
up.
Health to take, put them up.
Okay. And that's it.
And then you'll let Hunt know that we're not gonna do it.
I'll call 3 of them and tell them, yeah.
Thank you, Barry. Trustees, any trustees got anything to report? Nick?
Zoning board, of appeals was reviewing the gas pump, approval for the Stewarts. They designate themselves as lead agency for the secret review, and they're gonna hold a public hearing coming up in the next month. And I believe the planning board will be doing their site plan review, next week.
Good. There's much, any public participation?
We'll see at the public hearings. Planning board has two public hearings at this coming meeting, so we'll see.
Good. Tony, got anything?
I have no report.
No?
I don't have a lot. I just sought out the quotes for the restrooms, but, and I'll be, within the next couple of weeks, probably will be cleaning out the museum. Get a hold of one of my assistants to do that. He's always looking for something to do, so the 2 of us will clean the place out.
No,
Dust it.
when do you open that?
It's by appointment mainly, but whenever we announce when the concert season is, that's an automatic.
Okay.
My guess is it's probably the 27th of June, if we're gonna still hold them on Tuesdays.
Tim, that's all you?
We have a couple of tree issues that I'm gonna get together with Brian on, we might have to have some taken down.
Good.
But we'll get quotes on those. We have our contractor, contract has run out. And we haven't renewed any contracts, so we're gonna get quotes from different people.
I had a call on the one on Jackson, and apparently he's afraid it could be a safety concern.
Yeah, I got that, we'll take a look at it tomorrow.
School and all.
Yep.
Brian, do you take down some trees, depending on how big they
Right.
are?
Right. I mean, if there's something we can handle, we'll take them down.
You told me about the one on Prospect, is that one size that we would deal with
I think we can
ourselves?
do, yeah, I think we can do that.
And then the one on Jackson, have you looked at that one?
I have to look at that one, but I think that's kind of a fairly big one.
Mhm.
Okay. But I'd say if it is a public hazard, then
Right.
I would think you have the authority to have it taken down
Mhm.
anyway, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Good. Okay, I've got a few things I think here. I mentioned about the restaurant, the parking. There's a training session, I think everybody probably got this down at Gideon in Saratoga, the Conference of Mayors annual training, or annual meeting. Did everybody get that, or
I did not.
you did not? Everybody want a copy of it, or?
Yes.
Are you gonna go to that?
I can on Monday, I've got another commitment, but I'm gonna try and make some, possibly Sundays and Tuesdays.
Oh, this is this Monday. Yeah, no, I can't do this.
I got a copy of the school budget on file, if anybody wants it, it was sent to us, it's probably an inch thick, if anybody wants to review it, stop in, or if anybody wants a copy, let me know. I didn't know that they may have copied all of these, I don't think so.
Yep.
Brian, today I ended up with a letter dated April 17th. This is from the Department of Health also. Talks about the tank, our capacity, distribution.
That's the one that I was talking about during the meeting.
Okay, that's the one, all right. And then it did say that, said a hydraulic model for the system has been developed, but still needs to be calibrated.
So I don't know if Brady's got that out. Did Jason do something for us?
He did do something.
Yeah,
He
so,
told me he had one started, but
All right,
he
so-
said he would submit a proposal to us if we wanted a hydraulic model. So there seems to be some miscommunication here.
I
Can
can
you
touch-
check with Maria and see what she has, or?
I don't think she has anything. He was doing it, you know, when he was using at the water plant, getting credit towards his PE, or not,
his license, yeah.
his water license.
It's my understanding from talking to him today that it's 50% done, and I asked him to give us a proposal to finish it because I know that she had asked about it, so.
All right.
I've had one person interested in sent a note in about serving on the zoning board. It came in too late to get to the board today, but we'll put that on the agenda next meeting. We ran a report on our sprinkler properties with sprinklers. Looks like we've got 44 that we're aware of. Brian, I did a memo to you. Remember we talked about
Yeah,
getting a list of all of them, so we'll find out who's got them and who's not paying, and the ones that are paying are probably gonna be glad that somebody else is on their streets gonna pay that hasn't been paying. So. But I thought we could just sort and do a list of just the ones with sprinklers with that 140 code. I end up with a 75-page thing, just to find out 44 on there. Just tells me our software needs some improvement, because we should have been able to sort that down and get it on 2 pages. Something I've been surprised about the way we pay bills. I looked for purchase orders and vouchers, and apparently we don't use a voucher. I copied the board, no, I didn't, I copied them late, and I've got copies here for the board. If we can put this somewhere else. I think I may have copied, I think I had one for you tonight, I gave too many away. You didn't? Yeah. Yeah, this is, says village law, a claim may not be ordered paid unless the claim is in writing, itemized, and approved by the officer or employee originating the claim. In addition, the Board of Trustees may determine by resolution that claims must be certified or verified by oath of the claimant of his or her duly authorized agent. We always had anybody that submitted something for payment, we had them certify it, and I'm surprised the village don't. So I think we should think about having a policy where they sign a voucher certifying that it's correct and all.
Absolutely.
We initial or sign a bill that comes up.
There's a voucher form that the state has
Yeah.
designed right on top. They put their line item on there, they swear to it, and certify it.
It's similar to what we use as a purchase order, but.
Yeah, well, the purchase order, they use it the same as a voucher.
I've actually
But
never
nowhere
seen
is the claimant signing anything that I know of. You don't?
I've never seen a municipality that doesn't use it. I wasn't aware of it. It's pretty
Well, there's a
standard
stack of bills,
This
send
is
them
what we
down
use
and
right
have
now.
Mike.
form. Okay.
Seeing they're calling that a purchase order up on top.
Yeah, it does have a certification on it.
But
Let's see.
that's for
Wait a minute,
the
I hereby
department
certify the
heads.
above certified. Yep,
The department head's signing that, not
yeah,
the
this is
vendor.
really a purchase order, it's not the,
Mm.
you know, the
Well, they use
submission
it,
for
they
payment.
use it as a voucher too. For a whole, like if it's a contract or
I'll
something.
go on the internet and see if I can find the voucher form that they're using for municipalities.
So, all right.
Pete?
When I went to the town to ask for money for the parade on behalf of the village, Ann gave me a voucher that the town filled out and sent with the money. Is that what you're talking about? Or is that something different?
We
It
choose
Usually
said
a piece of
voucher on
paper
top.
that- If you're looking for money from a municipality, you put your bill in there, put the piece of paper on top, who are you, what's it for, you certify that it's legit.
Well,
Usually if you don't have that, you don't get paid.
Yep,
Right.
it's true.
but you'll see all those, all the ones you're paying tonight, there's not one of them on a voucher, is it, are there? So,
Purchase orders, yeah.
yeah,
It's just not a big problem.
yeah,
It's one piece of paper.
all right.
Anybody that does
Do
business
we
with
wanna make it a
municipalities.
policy that the claimant sign a voucher?
Let me go get you a copy of one first
Form,
before you
or
make it a
want to
policy.
See it first?
Yeah, I think you should see the form first.
All right, okay. I've got proposals in from 3 healthcare providers. I think it's gonna require somebody with some expertise to analyze them. I'm gonna spend some time on them. If it's possible to do a mid-year contract. I think we need to review them. We'll get copies to everybody. And then I think we decide on a broker that we want to present them and start with a small group and see how the feedback goes, if it's anything they're interested in. But I think initially with a cursory review, it looks like the town can save some money, the employee can save some money. I think there's some benefit to both there. It's just a question if there's any interest in it, so. I think
You're the
they-
village now, not the town.
Right, I was just gonna say, Bob Finney used to jump on people when they did that.
I apologize.
So, okay, in honor to Bob Finney,
It's
I'm
not gonna be easy.
I'm gonna
for
hit
me.
you if you do that one more time.
For 11 years,
Okay.
so, but, I think there's some benefits there for everybody involved, and I'm anxious to see how the employees react to it. And I think it can be good for everybody, we just gotta be sure, and they gotta feel comfortable with it, otherwise, we're not gonna force it, so. But there's different options out there, and I think some of them will end up in a lot better position, I think, than they even are now, so. So I'll do my best to get copies to everybody. It's something, if we're gonna do mid-year, we need to move on fairly quick, so, if you've got anybody with some expertise and that you know, have them look at them too, and we'll see. I think a lot of them are gonna be somewhat similar, some have framed them a little different than others. One did like a net, they deducted the contributions that we collect, so now to go apples to apples, you almost gotta add that back in, so you're comparing each one equally. They're all gonna use the same plans, and I think bottom line, a lot of it's gonna come down to service, who's gonna give you the best service. But I believe that's all I've got here.
Mayor, I've read the warrants
Okay.
and signed off on them, so
Okay,
if you wanna do that vote, we can do that.
okay. You okay with all the bills?
I had some questions, but nothing that's worth holding anything up.
Okay, we'll call for a motion then to approve the bills as audited.
I'll move to approve those.
Okay.
I'll second.
and a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
One abstention, and that's carried 3 with one abstention. Public have anything you want to bring up?
I just wanted to say that I'm working with a business right now who's possibly considering holding a music festival, and they're looking at the bandstand area for this summer. So we're going to be coming to the board, looking at, what costs are going to be involved, whether it's power, DPW, the police, what capacity could be used down there, what kind of a time frame, and pricing. So we're
Was
going to
this
be
like
getting.
Woodstock, or?
Well, you never know. What's the capacity? No, but that's the sort of thing, just kind of want to get an idea of what you guys, would be
Well, if you get some
allowing.
questions in advance, it might help you. I have no idea if we have a capacity, if anybody's ever done
I
anything.
don't think there's a capacity.
Well, we'll put a request in writing in the coming weeks. They're looking at other locations. I'm obviously pushing this one. But just give you guys
It's a
something to think
music
about.
festival, yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know, do we have a restriction on hours down there when somebody uses the gazebo?
4 in the morning, I think it is.
Something we may
Not
have
to
to,
my knowledge.
if somebody got in there
I
and,
think the only restriction you had was no alcohol.
No,
Right.
but if
Right.
somebody had an all-night party, that wouldn't go over too
I
long.
thought
I
it
don't
was,
think- yeah, I don't
thought it
think you
was
would
dusk,
approve.
wasn't it?
What's that?
I thought it was dusk, I think it was always.
That could be, some of our concerts went past, but that's, the gates, the bathrooms in Cooper's Cave close at dusk, so I would, yeah.
We just have our parks policy. No taking, drilling, stapling, throwing of rice, confetti, birdseed, no alcohol, no cooking on premises, no driving of vehicles on the park's lawns. Must use receptacles to clean up and leave park as you found it. Insurance waiver of claims upon request, number of people that will be attending. No money-making ventures / vendors, etc.
Well, that's like food trucks. They would want to have vendors, they would want to have food trucks. I mean, do we put that all in writing and ask for code information? Is there a point person that we can work with on that? If that's something you guys even want a business to
Well, if it's
pursue.
contrary to what we've got, it should come to the board.
Okay.
Good. Anybody else?
Do you charge for the gazebo, when people put in requests for that, the gazebo down there?
Do we what?
Charge?
I believe there is a fee.
Yeah.
People
Is
are
it
telling us
25
ours is
something?
less than everybody else.
It's usually waived for not-for-profit.
Oh, okay. So included in that is it like a bathroom, when we were talking about cleaning the bathrooms and worrying about special dates, couldn't you add a fee for that, or is it included in the permit?
No, it's not included.
We don't charge, but I don't know what's our fee, $35? $25?
Pretty low.
Because I would think, for most people, even if you added on the, a charge for cleanup fee, let's say, that's cheaper than any place that they're gonna get for a venue, and then that way you could call in a person or the person and say, hey, we've got this venue, will you clean it, and then you'll have the money to pay them for those extra days of use. I would think that would be pretty reasonable.
You guys might want to think about structuring a program for a little bit more detail, if that's something you guys want to. Since you're being very proactive, you might want to look into maybe structuring a program for the gazebo bandstand area, what you guys want. That you're being proactive in all these other areas. Just a thought.
List your ideas
I
for
will.
me.
Okay.
Sue, did you have something else?
Yes, can we adjourn the meeting so I can go to bed?
Where?
Can we adjourn the meeting so I can go and go to bed?
I'm gonna ask for an executive session. I'm gonna ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and when you come out of that executive session, you're not going to conduct any public business?
I don't think we'll be conducting any business. No. First, we got one more from the public.
Mr. Mayor and Tony, I want to thank you for the tremendous number of hours that you put in on that budget. And it's only cost me 16 cents, or $16 for the next budget.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I haven't got a second.
Got a motion from
Yeah, you don't want me to break my neck here, do you?
Oh.
I know, I'm watching it.